Do you want me to do roll call first?
Please, go ahead.
Counselor Andrews?
Here.
Counselor Allen? Here. Counselor One?
Here.
Counselor White?
Here.
Counselor Davidson?
Here.
Counselor Lamy?
Here.
Mayor Ritma?
Here.
Tanny Stephenson?
Here.
Twyla Harrington?
Here.
Will Knight?
Present.
Erin Jansen?
Here.
Tiffany Long?
Here.
Shelby Stephenson?
Here.
All right. Well, what we do is, at the time we have a schedule of interviews. You've all got the packet. And we always ask a series of canned questions. So, and those are in the packet for each applicant. And the interviews look like they're on these buff colored pages, the questions. And we will just go around. I don't know where we start, but we'll probably start down there with Will. And just ask the questions in order, rotating for each applicant. And the idea is that we're going to ask everybody the same questions to be fair to all the applicants. But if you think of something else you want to ask, or that the person said something that triggers a relevant question, we're not too strict about that. At the time then when we are done interviewing and we start to go through the committees, the person who is chair or who is here representing the committee will chair that interview or that discussion. Am I getting that right? Does that sound? I mean, I think that's the way it works. I've done it many times, but as we address, for instance, the budget committee, that discussion will be chaired by the chair of the budget committee, which is Tanny Stephenson, and so on, each one. But at first, we're just asking all the applicants many questions, well, at least a few questions, and they kind of are repetitive, you'll notice. Tell us about yourself, and then tell us about what you do will benefit the city. Usually they overlap, let's put it that way, but it's all right. Just carry on. And I don't know, anybody have any questions about how we do it? Yeah, Glenn?
I had something I spotted on the, packet. It talks about the worksheet vacant positions.
Yeah.
Probably because Paul Wilcox sent out the email listing people that are on committees, and I double checked it, and for Frank Stevens, for some reason, they didn't list that he's currently serving on historic landmarks and CAC. And I know he serves as a Gresham planner. And my question is, if we were to appoint him to Troutdale Planning Commission, would he have to pick one or the other, or do you know?
No, I don't know.
Right. It came up before, but I was just curious.
Seems like in a previous conversation that he had said if he got out there, he would step down.
Yeah, that's where I
Step down
remember.
from Gresham.
I didn't know if that was required though, or I guess you'd have to pick one.
Yeah, I think
Well, it would be,
Anyway.
seem like a good idea to pick one.
So I just want people to realize that he is serving on those other committees.
Any other questions?
I have a question, Shelby Stephenson. Do we rate them, we're filling out these for the boards, for the commissions, whatever we discuss, and then we fill out what positions they are.
Yeah,
That
that's,
comes at the end.
I mean, you can put in your choices if you want for discussion, but these, the actual appointments are made by the committee. Each committee will have a selection committee, And those choices are recorded by Kenda, basically.
So that's just kind of your worksheet.
Yeah, it can be a worksheet. We don't vote using these. But good question. Any other questions before we get started?
Dave, I'm sorry, real quick, I was engaged in a text messaging thing while you started the process. And you said that the chairs they will start the interview with each respective candidate who's applying to the
No, I
position, or-
thought we'd just go around the table to start the interviews.
Okay,
The chair of the committee will chair the discussion of possible
after everybody's
applicants.
gone?
Yes.
Gotcha.
I have a question.
Yeah.
It says in here, as a reminder, this election committee is comprised of the chair of the respective committee and the city council. It does say, please note, committee chairs are only to be participating in interviews and appointment recommendations for the committee they chair, and should refrain from participating in other committee interviews or recommendation discussions. So we're only supposed to really be doing it for
For your committee.
so I'm not gonna be asking questions for the rest of them, right? Like,
Right.
okay, good.
The
You
city
might
councilors.
participate in the just general questions.
So are we literally
Oh,
doing round robin and general questions? I
All right,
can ask a
on the general
question.
questions, yes, you will be asking questions.
Okay,
I think everyone does, as I recall. Yeah, because the list isn't grouped by committee.
Okay.
The list is by the applicant
Okay.
and their interests. So yes, you will be asking the general questions, and will only be kind of leading the discussion when we get to the committee. Any others? We'll try to keep it moving along. We've got a lot of applicants, which is absolutely great. A lot of very qualified people. That's wonderful, but is Loretta Wilchin here? Are you one of the applicants?
I'm Donna Landers.
All right. Well, I mean, in the interest of, if there's no objection, we'll just start with you and handle Loretta when she comes. But please take a seat at the table, and we'll begin the questions. And so we don't. Anyway, state your name, and we know you're from Troutdale, so state your name for the record.
Yeah, my name is Donna Landers, and I am the current owner of the Troutdale Barbershop.
Wonderful, excellent. Well, Will, are you ready to start?
Sure. Welcome.
Thank you.
Tell us about yourself, including how your work or volunteer experience will help you in serving on this committee.
I am originally from Bend, Oregon. My parents moved there from the Gresham area on my 4th birthday. I was raised there, and Bend was very, very small, so right after high school there wasn't a lot of opportunities, so I decided to move to the big city of Portland. I've managed to travel a lot. I lived in Germany for almost 6 years, and when I came back, I wanted to come back to the Pacific Northwest. I'm a little biased. Troutdale is a little sentimental for me. My father, who passed away when I was 15, used to fly in and out of Troutdale Airport all the time. I still have flight logs from him with all of his flights in and out. I also have a very strong passion and love affair for history. As a matter of fact, when I got called to do the interview, I was just taking off out of town, going on a little expedition following the Lewis and Clark Trail. So I went on a little historical run there. I do have a client at the shop by the name of Larry McGinnis, some of you may or may not know. And Larry was really the one that really started bringing some of the history of Troutdale, things that I didn't know. And I became very interested and very invested. And since then, I've just continued to explore and learn, work with the Historical Society. I had heard that the Historical Landmark Committee was wanting to do something with Hungry Hill. That was a term I hadn't heard before, so I instantly jumped to investigate and see what that is. What can I bring to the table? I think I really have a love for history. I have a love of deep diving, a love of researching, and I think that my position as a barber in Troutdale gives me a unique position to what a lot of the community members think and feel. I hope that answers the question.
Okay.
This is kind of a similar question, but what would you, in terms of experience, training, and passion, bring to our Historic Landmarks Commission that would be a benefit to the city?
My background wasn't always in barbering. I worked in the corporate environment. I was especially an administrative executive assistant. At one time, I was the assistant to 7 VPs out of Bank One in Tempe, Arizona, before they merged with First USA. I multitask, I research, I interview, I take on multiple tasks. Anything that's limited specifically to, I've never served on any type of a council before, so exactly what type of qualifications are involved in that, I don't really know. But I am a quick learner, and for what I'm wanting to do with the Historical Landmark Committee is, I think my passion for history and my passion for research, and also kind of being able to feel out things of, you know, how the community members feel about things, I think makes me a pretty good asset.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Erin Janssens. I'm actually the chair of the Historic Landmarks Commission, so
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you also. And so that introduction right there kind of answers this next question. Have you attended any of the committee's meetings or followed any of the recent agenda topics?
I have. I haven't been able to actually attend because I put in very long hours at the barber shop, but on off time I've been able to pull up the videos and stuff on YouTube, which is where I found out that there was talk about doing a Hungry Hill kind of historical district. And that's one of the things that I am trying to do with my barber shop. I worked with the Historical Society to find out exactly how far back the barber shop went. And I found out the barber shop was actually established in 1907. Wow. And so that right there is a big deal to me. For those of you that know, Kathy Phillips, the previous owner, had gifted the shop to me. And I changed the name slightly to call it the Historic Troutdale Barber Shop. And what I'm trying to do with the design of my barber shop is bring the history of Troutdale to the community. And so I have pictures posted of all of the former owners of the barber shop, going back to the very first barber, who was not only Troutdale's city recorder, but he was also the postmaster as well. So I have pictures of him up there, and the owners going all the way back, you know, to that era. Felix, who was there, you know, in the 1920s, he was the main barber here in Troutdale for over 60 years. And so bringing that history to the barber shop and having those pictures and stuff showcased and pieces showcased makes a great conversation piece for people that come in, and people who may not know the history of Troutdale. It's a good way to kind of open that up and show that there's more to Troutdale than was just the one street that I used to drive past when I was a kid to go shopping at the mall with my mom. So I think that's probably the best answer I could give.
Okay, that's great, thank you.
And you'll have to forgive me, I'm a little nervous right now.
You're fine, don't worry.
You're doing just fine.
Can you commit to attending night meetings?
Absolutely, absolutely. What I have noticed is that the meetings and stuff are scheduled in advance, and so that gives me the opportunity to be able to adjust my schedule on those days.
Great. Would you be interested in serving on a different committee or getting involved in a special ad hoc committee that may be created during the year?
I think that if there was something that was created that somebody felt that I would be a benefit to, I wouldn't be opposed to doing that. No.
Do you have any questions of us?
Right now, no, but I'm sure I probably will.
Okay. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
I am president of the Troutdale Historical Society.
I am aware of
So I'm just delighted to have you apply. And Aaron was president, is a past president of the Historical Society, in addition to being chair of the Historic Landmarks Commission. So looks like we're running ahead of schedule because well, Sandy's here. We could go to Sandy. All right, thank you.
Okay,
Donna?
yes, thank you.
Well, they shouldn't stay in the hallway. Anyway, thank you very much, Donna. Welcome.
I like the new name of the barber shop.
Yay. Oh, thank you
Yeah.
very much. Feel free to stop in anytime. You're always welcome, even just a little.
Thank
Thank you
you.
very much for your
Thank
time.
you.
Have a good evening.
Well, look, hey, Sandy, good to see you.
Good to see you.
If Loretta is there anyone out there? Okay. You're welcome. You don't have to stay out in the vestibule.
They were being polite.
Yeah. Well, nice of you. Loretta. Is Loretta here?
That's me.
Okay. Well, you're up, if you don't mind. We're ready for you. Please come up to the table.
Okay.
And welcome.
Thank you.
And we'll ask you the same questions we ask everybody. And if you have any questions of us, we'll give you a chance to ask us. But welcome. And we're going around the table. It happens to be my turn, so I'm going to ask you the first question.
Okay.
Tell us about yourself, and including how your work or volunteer experience will help you in serving this committee. And the committee you're applying for is TCAB,
Town center.
Town Center, yeah.
Town
The
Center,
T
yeah.
throws me every time. Town Center Advisory Board.
Okay, well, my name's Loretta. I moved to Troutdale about 4 years ago from Portland, inner city Portland, that I lived there for 50 years. So it was a big change to move from urban Portland, big, craftsman home, into Troutdale. And I've loved it. So I retired about 5 years ago. I was a principal and president of private schools in Portland. So I have a lot of experience in managing schools and managing budgets, because one of the schools I was at was a tuition-free, so I was the president, so I had to raise all the money, which is about a $2 million school every year. I am type A. I like to work, I like to be busy. I'm pretty efficient, and I really like this little town I moved into. So I just thought, well, gosh, now that I'm retired and my garden's pretty set, I thought maybe I could, I don't know, do something to participate in this community. I do a lot of volunteering in Portland I was at the Oregon Food Bank, but after you lift, 80 pounds of onions over and over my shoulder, was like, man. So now I'm at the Blanchet House. I don't know if you know Blanchet House downtown, and I really like that. I have 2 kids, 6 grandkids. I walk a lot, I garden a lot, I come into downtown a lot, and there's many, many things I want in downtown that we don't have. And so I thought I would see what I can do.
Great.
That's it.
Thank you.
What would you, in terms of experience, training, and passion, bring to our TCAP committee that would be a benefit to the city?
What would my passion bring to what?
What would you, in terms of experience, training, and passion, bring to the TCAP committee, and how would that be a benefit to the city?
Well, I've worked in schools, so I've worked with a lot of teachers, a lot of parents, a lot of kids. I've worked with budgets, I've worked with contracts, I've worked on committees, I've had boards of trustees. So a lot of that experience, it's just in me. So, this is the kind of thing I would do a lot of. So I think I know that experience can be useful in some way. I don't really know exactly what this committee does, but I was pretty game for any of the committees. I just thought I want to do something for the city of Troutdale.
Thank you.
Have you attended any of the committee's meetings or followed any of the recent agenda topics?
I have not been to any of the committees.
With the TCAB right now, we're going through a pretty extensive RFQ process. I'm just curious, based on what you said, if I may just kind of go off topic real quick. You mentioned downtown has a lot of examples of things that you want that we don't have. I'm just curious what some of those are.
Well, I still have a lot of Portland in me. So I'm used to walking to, 15 really nice restaurants. I want a bakery here that is close. I would love to be able to go to Trader Joe's. So I'm just used to a lot more shops where, the things you want to buy, toys for your grandkid. That little store that was open, that closed recently, where they had toys for kids and they had chocolates and they had Christmas things. And so I just would like a little more of that in downtown Portland. I haven't been to that market that they have over at Mount Hood Community College, so I want to try that. So I don't want to bring Portland to Troutdale, but I'd like to just see a few more things that would get me to come into this community a little bit more. I'm pretty happy in my little house.
Sure. Can you commit to attending the night meetings that CTCAP meets on the second Thursday of each month?
The second Thursday of each month? Yes, I can.
Would you be interested in serving on a different committee or getting involved in a special ad hoc committee that might be created through the year?
I would be, yeah. It's high.
And at this point, we invite any questions you might have of us.
Well, I don't really know what this committee does. Town Center is the one I looked at, so can you be a little more specific on, like, what do you expect of somebody like me?
Penny, wanna?
Go ahead, sir.
Oh, Will, I'm sorry, all right.
Currently we're in the process of trying to figure out what we're gonna do with the property behind the outlet mall. And this town center area and how we want it to develop, a connection between the old downtown and potential new developments. And that is kind of the tip of the iceberg going down this path that we're on, trying to get that figured out. So those things as far as ideas and what we want that to look like, those are all down the road conversations that we may have with the developer interviews as well. So it is kind of deciding what we want to picture for downtown and what that will look like. Anything else, Mary?
So I've been to run a school that's tuition free, I had to raise a lot of money. So I've done a lot of capital campaigns and beginning feasibility studies for building things. Is that going to be part of this, or?
I don't know if we'll be getting into some of the nitty gritty of those things when it comes to specific development. But it is more like an overview, and then taking the wide view and narrowing it down and creating a vision that we want to see and executing on that, so the city is getting what they need financially, and then also the citizens and the people are getting what they want as well out of this development in the downtown.
Okay. That's the main question I had is,
Okay.
what does this committee really want from the person who's saying they'll volunteer?
Well, thank you for volunteering.
Okay.
And for coming down, and we'll be in touch.
Great, sounds good. Thank you so much.
I mean, the way we work it, we'll make a selection. We're gonna try to make a selection tonight,
Okay,
and you'll be informed tomorrow,
okay. Oh, great.
what we did.
Okay, well, I'm around.
Usually,
This won't be
that's
the
what
first
we
time
do,
you'll see me.
unless we run
Or
into
the last
trouble.
time.
Thank you very much.
So can I leave now? Or do I-
You do not have to wait, and thank you for applying. All right, we'll go on to Sandy Glantz. Welcome, Sandy, good to see you. And thanks for applying, and I think we'll,
I think that's me you call. I'm sorry, how did you know about Heron?
Sandy Glantz is online.
Oh, okay, I'm
He's
sorry.
there, but you're perhaps next.
Perhaps,
Anyway, Sandy, welcome, and I think we'll start down here.
okay, that's what I got, okay.
All right, appreciate it. Tell us about yourself, including how your work or volunteer experience will help you in serving on this committee.
A little bit about myself. My day job is in tech. And so I'm pretty busy with that. And then I have a pretty long background, both on planning commission and on budget committee, as well as having been a city councilor for about 4 years. And I'm very familiar with the process, how things work, how to make compromises to get things done, and just generally a very engaged citizen. I try to make sure that I've always done my homework and come prepared to all meetings.
Thank you.
We'll continue going on around.
What would you, in terms of experience, training, and passion, bring to the budget committee or planning commission that would be a benefit to the city?
A lot of experience, I think, helps in terms of, what's worked before, what hasn't worked before, what the history on some of the issues are. And generally, I mentioned I work in tech. I'm very familiar with, you have certain rules you need to do, but a lot of times you can be a little creative in terms of how you get that done and still meet all the requirements. And one of the things that I really love about both planning and budget is that they're just very detail oriented. It's something that to me is a good thing. It's not necessarily, oh my gosh, what all is this? I'm like, I enjoy the details. I think sometimes the details make or break a deal. So.
I think we all already know the answer to this one, but have you attended any of the committee's meetings or followed any of their recent agenda topics?
Yes, I have to admit that I did miss the last planning commission meeting though. My bad. But yeah, a lot of time.
We taped it for you.
Yeah.
I know you did. I know you did. I'm getting there.
All right, Sandy, here's another one of those very general questions of, can you commit to attending the evening meetings?
Yes, I can.
Great, thank you.
And lastly, would you be interested in serving on any other committee?
At this point, no. One of the things I found on being a city councilor was it's a lot of work. There's a lot of commitment, and when you're already, have a day job that is, 50, 60 hours a week, I really want to manage the amount of time that I have. I don't want to do more than I should be doing. So I feel like this is a really comfortable fit for me.
Well, Sandy, do you have any questions of us?
Nope. How's it going?
Just swell. And it's good to see you. Thank
Good to see
you
you.
for applying, and you're excused.
Thank you, sir.
All right, Sanford next. There you go. No wonder it sounded similar.
Sounds like Sandy wanted it.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah.
It did. Well, introduce yourself and we'll start with questions here.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about yourself, including how your work and volunteer experience will help you in serving on this committee.
So, I am a recently retired transplant from California. Moved up here 2023 because our kids are up here, and so we wanted to be near them. In California, I was a retired newspaper reporter. I cover councils and supervisors and all kinds of things. And then when that industry started to go south, I got a job with the state of California. And so I was working for the California EPA in their, basically in their comms department. And we did a lot of work where we would convert toxic sites into things like parks. And so I've always had a strong interest in parks. I think that they are really crucial because they kind of ramp down the pressures of urban life, so to speak. And I was in college, I spent my summers working for the city Parks and Rec Department. So it's something that I really like to do. And when I retired, I gave myself 1 year where I would do absolutely nothing. And I liked that so much that I moved it into 2 years. But now it's year 3 and it's time for me to get out and start doing stuff. So this is a way for me to kind of discover more about Troutdale, be able to serve the community, and be able to do something useful with my spare time.
Great.
In terms of experience, training, and passion, what can you bring to our Parks Advisory Committee that would benefit the city of Troutdale?
So I'm really good at critical thinking and kind of thinking about the big picture. And so I think I can help kind of think about the vision of what the city wants to do with their parks. And I know that, for example, you guys just you made a Parks Advisory Committee made a recommendation to install a pay-in for parking at one of the parks. And those kinds of decisions are what I covered when I was working with the papers. And so it's just something that is really something that I'm used to.
Thank you.
Have you attended any of our Parks Committee meetings?
No.
But it sounds like you've been following the
Yes.
agendas.
Yeah.
So, great, thanks.
I got the easy question. Can you commit to attending night meetings? I believe the Parks Advisory Committee meets the third Wednesday of each month.
No, I wouldn't have any problem. I've been attending night meetings for 35 years.
Sounds like you're well aware, used to it, so.
Okay. Would you be interested in serving on a different committee or getting involved in a special ad hoc committee that would be be created during the year?
Sure. It would depend on how much time it takes and what it is, of course.
Understood.
Do you have any questions for any of us?
I'm sorry, pardon me?
Do you have any questions for any of us?
The only question I had was, so being from California, it's taken me a while to get used to the snow and cold and winters here, and so I'm curious if you guys ever do anything on Zoom or anything like that during the winters?
Yeah, we do. Typically, as long as there's a staffing and what we call it a quorum, there's enough people that are available to meet. That's usually decided at each of the meetings for individual, if the next one is.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a big deal. I'm within walking distance.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, it's.
No, when the weather's really bad, we will have meetings.
Well, we moved here in December in a snowstorm. It was really windy, and my wife and I looked at each other and said, "What did we do?"
Oh, yeah, I'm familiar with that.
Well,
But we really like it here. So.
and we get snow so seldom, we actually like it too.
Yeah.
Most of the time. Anyway, thank you. And thank you for applying, and we'll let you know.
Okay, thanks.
All right. Doug Kuiper?
Yes.
Okay, welcome. Thank you. Please have a seat. And who's next? Go ahead, Toby.
So, Mr. Piper, tell us about yourself, including how your work or volunteer experience will help you in serving on this committee.
Sure. When I was about 2 years old, as my parents told me, they moved me down from Seattle, which was where I was born, into Portland. And I think it was about 41st and Harrison Street, which is now totally expanded. Lived all of my life in Portland up to about 4 years ago, where my wife and I decided to sell our home, move into a fifth wheel, and traverse the United States. And for 2 years, I was in a fifth wheel. My wife got tired of the program, decided that we should come back to Portland, and now we relocated into Troutdale, Oregon, a city I should have gotten to sooner than 2 years ago, and totally enjoy it. So that's kind of how I am in now Troutdale at this point. My work career has been primarily involved in law enforcement sales of body armor, uniforms, and so I've dealt with a lot of governmental purchasing agents and state, federal, and local law enforcement within that career. My volunteer career extends, probably starts at about 30. And I've always been involved in a board or some type of volunteer activity. I don't tend to take on two at a time, but I do tend to take on one at a time. And as I'm reading the Troutdale Champion and looking at my next opportunities as where I might want to go, there was the advertisement for being a member with Troutdale. And I said, that's got to be a sign. So I signed up. I think the day after I saw it, I had my application up at City Hall, and now here I am. So what qualifies me for the position I'm looking for, which is on the Budget Committee? Within that group of volunteer hours, it's all been within financial, accounting, bookkeeping, treasury duties. Probably the one that's most similar to what we're looking at here within the Budget Committee. I was 3 years on the Budget Committee for the Diocese of the Episcopal Diocese of Oregon. And they had about 70 line items within their budget. We had a group of 12 people, and within those 12 people, we kind of broke the budget down. As the requests came in, we studied them, went back to the people who may have written them to determine what additional questions we may have had, made our recommendations on to for the final budget, and did that for 3 years. It was an elected position, it wasn't appointed, and I think there were 300 lay and clergy that made the vote, and I was fortunate enough to be one of the people that they voted on. What did I miss, anything?
No, that's great. There's
can
no
keep
wrong
talking.
answers. Danny?
Good evening, Doug.
Yeah.
You've answered part of this already, but what would you bring in terms of experience, training, and passion to the Budget Committee or the Citizens Advisory Committee?
I mean, essentially all of my background, even in my work career as a manager, I was always tied to budgets. I was always making budgets. I met a whole lot of them. And that wasn't only just in my work, but in the nonprofit. Everything revolved around budgets, and I've been setting them and working through them, either in an individual setting, team setting, or group setting. And honestly, I enjoy working in all three of those settings. Do you have the easy question?
I do. I got a good one for you. Have you attended any of the committee's meetings or followed any of the recent agenda topics?
I have not attended, but after I applied for this, then I went online and I've reviewed, I think it was the April 16th meeting. Kind of took a look at what was going on there. I also got a copy of the budget. What is it, 164 pages of funds?
More.
And reviewed through that and kind of got a general feeling as to what it was I was potentially going to be involved in. Thank you.
I'll turn over this one. Can you commit to attending meetings in the evenings? According to what on my list here, it has Budget Committee and CAC. Budget Committee meets 2 to 4 times in April and or May, and they hold a work session in November or December. And the Citizens Advisory Committee meets the first Wednesday of each month.
I could commit to either one of those, or both. Probably have a preference to only have one or the other, and that might be the next question.
The next question is, would you be interested in serving on a different committee or getting involved in a special ad hoc committee that may be created during the year? And I'd like to add on to the end of that. Is there one you would prefer over the other?
Definitely prefer the budget. I think my talents and what I could bring to the committee is far greater than what I might be on the Citizens Committee. Not that I don't have thoughts and visions, but preference kind of lies in the numbers.
And like, would you be okay being on a different committee or any ad hoc committee?
I, depending upon what it would be, yes.
Okay.
I'm very interested in being involved within the city of Troutdale.
Thank you.
So whatever that might look like, I'm open.
Excellent. I think you're supposed to ask me his question.
Oh, I'm sorry. Do you have any questions of us?
I guess the biggest question I have is, I saw the final package, and I'm kind of curious as to how you start and how you get to that final package. I mean, is it people make the proposals as to what they want within the budget for their group on a yearly basis, and then one or two or the whole group takes a look at the proposal and determines whether it's feasible, not feasible, and goes back for questions?
It's the responsibility of staff to bring in a balanced budget.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's the responsibility of the committee to go through the budget in its entirety and make sure that it meets all of the metrics.
Okay.
And then that budget then is sent on to city council for final adoption.
Thank you.
Well, thank you, Doug, for
Thank you folks very much.
applying and welcome.
Thank you. Pleasure talking with all of you.
You also.
All right. Adrian. You're next. And we'll just go around with a few questions. We ask everybody the same questions, so.
So, tell us about yourself, including how your work or volunteer experience will help you in serving on this committee. You're looking at planning commission.
Just a bit about myself. My name is Adrian Kester. I currently sit on
3 committees. Citizens Advisory Committee, Historic Landmarks Commission, and I'm also the HOC representative for Town Center Advisory Board. Though it is my intent that if I get seated on Planning Commission, that I will let somebody else in HOC take that TCAP slot. Because time management is what it is. But as far as my other volunteer experience, I am also president of the board for Oregon Science Fiction Conventions Incorporated. I have to manage a whole lot of different varying personalities and people and situations in a fan-run organization, and that takes a certain amount of patience and attention to detail. But other than that volunteer experience, my personal experience that I think would be beneficial to planning commissions. I have lived in Troutdale for going on 7 years now, but I have lived all over the world in many, many different varieties of communities, from the smallest of rural communities to the largest metropolitan areas. And I believe that variety of experience is something that could potentially be a beneficial perspective to the kind of land use questions that come in front of Planning Commission.
What would you, in terms of experience, training, and passion, bring to the Planning Commission committee that would benefit the city?
Part of my passion is one of proximity. I think I'm not entirely sure if my house is technically within the town center overlay, but if it isn't, it's darn close. I have a now slightly diminished view of the northern third of Troutdale. But town center is where I live, and I love this city, and since I'm right in the middle of it, and because I'm so close to this, it's a lot of the things that are conversed about and come up in front of all the committees, but Planning Commission in particular, is something that does affect me personally in a lot of ways. So part of that is, I mean, that's just kind of my own passion for involvement and wanting to enhance and improve the environment that I live in.
I know the answer to this one because I've seen you at a lot of meetings, but I gotta ask it. Have you attended any of the committee's meetings or followed any of their recent agenda topics?
Very closely. I am a not 100% attendee, but I'm a relatively regular attendee to Planning Commission meetings, and as I said, I actively sit on a couple other committees, so I follow things pretty closely.
Planning Commission meets on the second Wednesday and occasionally the fourth Wednesday of each month. Does that work with your schedule?
It does, and in fact, that's actually one of the reasons why I'm not terribly sad to make the trade between Planning Commission and Town Center Advisory Board, is because Wednesdays do tend to work better for me than Thursdays.
Great, understood.
Well, this seems like a silly question, but would you be interested in serving on a different committee or getting involved in a special ad hoc committee that may be created during the year?
3 is enough.
Perfect. And then, do you have any questions for us?
None in particular. As I said, I follow things pretty closely. Obviously, I'm no stranger to this process. So no, I have no questions in particular.
Thank you.
All right, well, hey, thanks for applying, and we'll be letting you know. We try to make our decision tonight if we can, and we'll let you know by tomorrow. but thank you for applying.
Nice seeing you, Adrian.
Kelly Wesson, welcome. Please come up. Hello.
Oh goodness, sorry, I'm a big old coat.
All right, Carol.
All right, tell us about yourself, including how your work or volunteer experience will help you in serving on this committee.
Yeah, so my name is Kelly Wesson. I was basically born and raised in Portland, Oregon, as was my husband. Basically because I was born actually in Reno and 6 months later came here, but I love Portland, I love Troutdale. We moved out here about 7 years ago, and I have followed along with the city's growth for the last 7 years. I currently work at Jaguar Land Rover out in Portland, down by Montgomery Park. I work as their events planner in internal communications. I also work very closely with their DE&I groups to make sure that some of those events are happening. And for my volunteer, I don't have a ton of volunteer experience lately, except for I've worked with Solve to do some cleanup stuff for event planning, and some work with the homeless making sack lunches. So I've put together and organized events like that for over 70 people, and I've done things like this for the last 12 years.
Hi, Kelly.
Hi.
What would you, in terms of experience, training, and passion, bring to our committee that would be a benefit to the city?
Well, my passion, first and foremost, like I said, live out here half for the last 7 years with my husband and our 5-year-old. So it is a huge passion of mine to get involved with where I'm raising my child. Yeah, I want to be part of this. I want to make decisions. I want to see that the city is going in a direction that I like for my family and for other families growing here too.
Have you attended any of the committee's meetings or followed any of the recent agenda topics?
Unfortunately, I haven't gone to any of these committee meetings. I was involved in some land use meetings for a personal reason. There was a development next to my home right after we moved in, which started getting me into some of these meetings. Otherwise, I have not followed some of the recent events with the planning committee, with the events committee, except for I do follow the champion, the Troutdale champion, read that very religiously and see all the wonderful stuff that's going on and the improvements that the city's been doing.
Hi, Kelly. Can you commit to attending nightly meetings? The Citizens Advisory Committee typically meets on the first Wednesday of the month, and the Public Safety and Equity Advisory Committee usually meets on the first Thursday of the month.
Both work perfectly well.
Thank you.
Perfect. Would you be interested in serving on any different committees or getting involved in any special ad hoc committees that maybe come up during the year?
Yeah, definitely. I am open to just being involved here in Troutdale in the city, so whatever happens, and especially if my skill set can give to it, I would love to. Yeah.
All right.
Do you have any questions for the group here, or maybe the chair of the committees that you are applying for?
Yeah, just outside of, Troutdale Champion, I haven't seen any of the things that the city's working on. Is there anything in particular right now that is in the pipeline? I don't know.
It's a big
there's a lot.
question for, everybody's got something.
Yeah. Well, for the Citizens Advisory Committee, we had spent pretty much the last year working on really honing in what our goals and what we want to be doing. So we plan on focusing on really doing a lot of community outreach in that, and then we have some varying items that we'll be looking into.
And as far as public safety, we championed trying to get public safety survey out and get information to the working group, negotiating the new contracts for police and fire and health citizens felt. So that's what we did last year, try to follow up on anything citizens had. And going forward, we're looking at night out, maybe if there's interest in doing neighborhood watch programs. Just that's some of the stuff.
Oh, I do not envy you in those surveys. That's another big part of my job, and I cannot tell you how difficult it is to get people to answer surveys, but when you do, you get important information back, so. That's all the questions.
Well, thank you for applying and for coming down, and we'll let you know.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you very much. Nice to meet you
All
all.
right, thanks so much. Chris Barney. Welcome.
Oh, is that me? Sorry.
Yeah, you're first.
This time, okay. Hi. Tell us about yourself, including how your work or volunteer experience will help you in serving on the budget committee.
Let's see. I've been a resident of Troutdale at least 5 to 7 years now or so, and I've been on the committees for a while, and I've been viewing it very much as a learning experience. I've learned a lot as I've served on both the budget committee and the citizens advisory committee, and I believe the things I've learned are kind of guiding me along the way, helping me be prepared to continue to do that.
Okay. Hi, Chris. What would you, in terms of experience, training, and passion, bring to the budget committee that would benefit the city?
I think the biggest things I would say would be dedication and integrity. It's something that I find to be very important, as it's part of what makes the city run. And also, I'll admit I'm a math guy. I like numbers, and so kind of I feel that fits with the budget.
We already know the answer to the next two questions, because you're already on the committee and you do attend the committees, right? Right, so let's skip down to the bottom one. Would you be interested in serving on any different committee?
I'm pretty content with what I have, but I'd be open to it. I'd be open to discussing it if such a need arises.
Do you have any questions for us?
I don't think so.
Well, thank you for applying and reapplying, and we'll let you know.
Thank you.
Okay, Tristan Jones.
Hello.
Yeah. It's you, Glenn.
All right. Tristan, tell us about yourself, including how you work or volunteer experience will help you in serving on this committee.
My name is Tristan Jones. I have about 10 years of emergency room nursing experience, and through that experience, I've seen what sedentary life will do to a person, and there's no remedy to that like a good park. And Troutdale has incredible parks right now, incredible opportunities for parks. Me and my wife and my 2-year-old are going on about 2.5 years of living in Troutdale, moving from Portland. We lived in Alaska and California and spent some time in Washington. Lived in large cities and small towns, and I've seen a lot of different types of parks, and I've seen ones that work and ones that don't, and always tried to be involved in some way in the outdoor spaces and the places that I've lived. Throughout college, I was passionate about forestry and science. I volunteered through AmeriCorps, teaching outdoor and ecological sciences to youth. So I have some experience in the teaching front, out in the outdoor recreation and sciences. I've also always been involved in trail maintenance and volunteering through different organizations to maintain trail networks in the local places I live. Most recently, Northwest Trail Alliance and Santa Cruz Mountain Trail Stewards. So I think from both a professional and recreational and just interest standpoint, I'm really passionate about being outside, and I think it's an important part of being a community member, and I think a healthy park is a healthy community, so.
Oh, great. What would you, in terms of experience, training, and passion, really have answered this, but bring to the Parks Advisory Committee that would be a benefit to the city?
I think I come with a unique perspective. I'm fairly new here. And I have a 2.5-year-old, and I feel like that's really shifted my perspective and priorities in life. You know, before I was very focused on what can I get out of this, you know, but now I'm imagining my kid growing up in this community and what is he going to need from the outdoor spaces. And as we probably all know, that it's really hard to get kids outside and get kids engaged in the outdoors, and we all know the benefits that has. And I would love to contribute to making Troutdale and have Troutdale continue to be a really incredible outdoor place to grow up in.
All right. Different.
Have you attended any of the committee's meetings or followed any of the recent agenda topics?
Well, I have a 2-year-old, so I'm just getting my feet on the ground again. I've watched a couple of the recorded parks meetings before I applied to this, just to make sure it was something I wanted to do, but no, I haven't attended any meetings here in Troutdale. I have a history of attending meetings in most recently Portland.
Can you commit to attending the night meetings, which is the third Wednesday of every month?
Yeah, I have every Wednesday off, so that'll work for me.
Good to see you, Tristan.
Good to see you, Zach.
Would you be interested in serving on a different committee or getting involved in a special ad hoc committee that may be created during the year?
My passion and focus would definitely be in the parks. If there was an ad hoc committee that was created around outdoor access or something within my wheelhouse, I would be interested in it, but my time is definitely limited, so I want to focus on things that I'm passionate about. So.
I hear you. Yeah. Do you have any questions for us?
Well, I know there's a lot to talk about as far as the budget and how it might impact the Parks and Rec, and I'm sure there's more to come on that, but if anyone has any insight, if they'd like to tell me about, just beating the most recent champion, I guess that's not really a question, but.
Well, it's an important point, but at least for this next budget cycle, we're funding our parks, so. Well, thank you for applying and for coming down, and we'll let you know.
Awesome, thanks for having me.
We probably will decide tonight and let you know by probably tomorrow, I would think.
Wonderful, thanks so much for the opportunity.
All right, well, thank you, welcome. All right, next is Donna Cartwright.
She submitted a letter.
And isn't gonna be interviewed, is that the idea? She submitted a letter. So it's in the
top page of her.
It's the page right after this, like.
Oh, I see. Oh, okay. Oh, all right. Well, I guess, to be fair, to Donna Cartwright, I'll just read her letter. It's not very long. Tell us about yourself. It's the same questions. With over 20 years of experience leading product development and strategic planning in complex manufacturing environments, I bring a strong foundation in problem-solving, cross-functional collaboration, and long-term visioning. I regularly present to executive leadership teams and am comfortable communicating complex topics clearly and confidently. My background equips me to evaluate issues from multiple perspectives, drive actionable solutions, and contribute meaningfully to discussions that shape our city's future. As a mom and grandma, I care deeply about the future of our community and am committed to help shape a city that is safe, inclusive, and vibrant for generations to come. As far as experience and training, I bring a strong combination of professional training, hands-on experience, and community involvement to the committee. As of Vice President of Innovation and PMP. What is that? Anybody know? PMP. I have extensive experience leading complex initiatives, aligning diverse stakeholders, and driving results. I've also served in many volunteer roles, coaching academic and athletic teams, hosting science fairs, and contributing to downtown revitalization efforts, which reflect my long-standing commitment to community engagement. My passion lies in creating well-planned spaces where families and businesses can thrive, and I'm excited to apply my skills to support the city's goals. She applied to CAC and Parks Advisory. Anyway, her answer about attending meetings was yes. And presumably she's willing to serve on the days that the committees meet. And her answer about other committees is, I'm happy to serve in whatever capacity provides the most value. So that's Donna Cartwright. And we thank her for her application, and we'll give her due consideration. Sounds great.
I think Leanne is standing out in the lobby.
Okay, if Leanne is there, let's, Kenda, can you, or somebody, retrieve her, or tell anybody out there they can come in? We're right about on schedule. Does anyone need a break? We've been doing this for an hour. Anyway, welcome. Leanne, you're up. So come to the table. And state your name for the record, and we'll get started.
Leanne Steffen.
Yeah, tell us about yourself and how your work or volunteer experience will help you in serving on this committee.
I've lived in Troutdale for about 38 years. I retired about 2 years ago from the Troutdale Historical Society as their executive director. And so I've been a part of Troutdale for quite a few years and heavily involved with the history of Troutdale, and on the Historic Landmarks Commission since 2015, I believe.
Hello, Leanne.
Hi, how are you?
Good. In terms of experience, training, and passion, what would you bring to the Historic Landmarks Commission that would be a benefit to the city?
I believe the knowledge that I acquired as the director. I mentored under Sharon Nesbitt, and she, of course, nobody knows everything she knows, but if she didn't, what she did for me was that she taught me how to find the information. So the information that she gathered over the years is there for anyone to locate. It's just a matter of knowing how to find it. So she taught me that.
Have you attended any of the committee meetings or followed any of the recent agenda topics?
For this committee?
You're like to.
No.
She's like, what?
Yeah. Oh, hi, I hadn't seen it.
We ask the same questions of everybody, just to be fair. So
Oh, okay.
they don't necessarily make sense.
New and existing members all get asked the same.
The same person. So, yeah, so I've been a part of it, so I, have been following it closely.
And will you be able to continue making those meetings on those nights?
Yes, yes.
Would you be interested in serving on a different committee or getting involved in a special ad hoc committee that might be created during the year?
Not this time, I don't think so.
I'm going to clarify for Leanne. She said that she's been on the committee since 2016.
Oh, is that right?
Is that what you said?
15.
15, but you actually were on it, the original committee, which started in 2012 or 13 at the latest, I think 2012. And then you were on it for a couple of years, and you took a 1-year break and then came back. So you've been there pretty much Is there anything you have for us? Do you have any questions to ask us?
I do not.
All right, well, thank you, Leanne.
Thanks for
And thanks
reapplying.
for reapplying, and we certainly miss you at the Troutdale Historical Society and hope you're doing very well.
I'm doing well, and I do miss all of you too, and the history part of being there, so,
Well, we appreciate everything you've done and do for us.
thank you.
So thanks. We'll let you know.
Okay, I'll be waiting.
Nice hat.
No, that's great. Rebecca Sanchez. Is there anybody outside? Oh, great. Rebecca, you're on. You're right on time. Well, we're running a little ahead, so thank you, and have a seat, state your name and welcome. And we'll ask you a series of canned questions. We just go around the table, so.
Great. Hello, everyone. I'm Rebecca Sanchez. Nice to meet you.
Okay, so tell us about yourself, including how your work or volunteer experience will help you in serving on this committee.
Yeah.
Serving on the Citizen Advisory, that's what you're asking about, right?
Yep, that's the one. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, well, let's see. I was born and raised in Arizona, but moved to Oregon when I was in high school in Springfield. I've been in Portland for the majority of my adult life. I'm a social worker. I currently work for Morrison Child and Family Services. I work specifically in the division that supports refugee and asylum-seeking youth. I've been in this career field for about 10 years. I moved to Troutdale in, I believe it was October of 2022. So I'm really excited to be part of this community. I love Troutdale. I live right up on the hill. I also worked for 3 years with the Multnomah County Sheriff's Office. I was their very first DEI director. So I've been able to sit in this room before and speak to a couple of the other committees. I enjoyed working with the committees and just having conversations. And as a newish member of Troutdale, I was always interested in seeing when an opportunity would come that I could join in. The Citizens Advisory Committee is really interesting for me because I really like that its focus in supporting the Troutdale, I believe it's the land use rule. The land use project is really to engage in the community, in the citizens that live here in Troutdale, and trying to increase their inclusion in their voices. And I just think that'd be an incredible opportunity for me as a resident, for me as somebody who just really values hearing all the diversity of ideas and input. And I've served on many committees before. Currently at Morrison Child and Family Services, I sit in on our agency-wide Quality and Compliance Committee. So I've been a participant in that for almost 2 years. And yeah, I just really I enjoy engaging with others, so.
Great.
Yeah.
I think you answered most of the next question. Have you attended any of the committee's meetings or followed any of the recent agenda topics?
Yes, so when I first moved into Troutdale, I was really excited. I read the Parks and Recreation Strategic Plan. I think that was one of my first engagements with committee work when I became part of this community. I really loved the entire plan, the approach that really sought out to look at demographics and to see where the gaps were in access to green spaces, and the commitment to really focus on those areas that were predominantly communities of color, our Latino community, and to put finances and focus in that area, and all the communication to the community that resulted in that. I loved the way the format of that plan was given out. So that was like my first interest into this. And then, of course, working with MCSO, I got to testify in my role of Diversity, Equity, Inclusion Director, and share the work that I was doing with Sheriff Reese and then Sheriff Morrissey O'Donnell. So that's, I think, the biggest touch points that I've had.
Can you commit to nightly meetings? CAC meets the first Wednesday of every month.
Can you repeat the first part?
Can you commit to the nightly meetings at 7 o'clock?
One Wednesday a month, right? It's
Yeah,
not-
first Wednesday.
Is it the first Wednesday for
And
Citizens
it's not
Advisory?
every month, sometimes there's gaps.
And it's not every night.
Right, yes, I know, so I wanted to clarify, yeah. It's once a month, it's that night on a Wednesday. Yes, I mean, I was reading as well that you have explanations on, you know, life happens, I might need to have a vacation, or I might be sick, so there's a protocol in place for me to communicate if I'm gonna be absent. But of course, that'll be very limited. Yes, definitely, I'd be committing to show up for that. Yeah.
Would you be interested in serving on a different committee or getting involved in a special ad hoc committee that may be created during the year?
Perhaps I read the other descriptions of the committees that had vacancies right now. My greatest interest is in the citizens again. I'm just really excited being involved in that. So I'm not very interested in the other ones at this moment, but I am interested in hearing about what ad hoc opportunities would be.
Okay, well, there's no wrong answers here. Do you have any questions of us?
Yeah, what are you looking for in this committee member? Like how are you wanting them to show up? How are you wanting them to engage?
We want people just like you that care about Troutdale, care about the city, wanted to make the place better. That's what we're looking for. It's not, there's no, send us your resume and we'll see if you qualify. It's people who care and make time to commit to attending. And this, I have to admit to my fellow members, we are just showered with blessings this year with all these wonderful applicants, so including Rebecca, but thank you.
Oh, thank you, I'm really excited.
Anyway, but thank you for coming. We try to decide tonight after we're done talking to everybody, and you should hear soon, like maybe by tomorrow.
Oh, great, awesome, thank you all so much.
Thanks for coming, you don't have to wait around.
Okay.
All right. Jim Hill. Welcome.
Good evening.
Just state your name and we'll get started.
All right, Jim Hill.
All right, thank you.
Live in the city of Troutdale.
Wonderful. Jeffrey, you wanna?
Why don't you tell us about yourself, including how your work or your volunteer experience would help you in serving on this committee?
Very good. I've been serving on a few committees here for a couple of years. Enjoyed that. I work as a nonprofit executive. I'm the COO for a major nonprofit serving youth, children, and families in the Northwest Oregon, Southwest Washington area, about 19 counties. We serve about 7,500 youth and another 3,000 or 4,000 adults. I'm very involved in that, have been for a long time. Interested in the history of that organization, but then also this area, which is why I originally, a few years ago, had expressed interest in the Historic Landmarks Commission. And that's been an interesting and a good experience for me, not only to see how the government operates and how the city is organized, but it's also asked to serve on the Parks Commission and the committee, Parks Advisory Committee, and then also as a liaison to the
TCAB.
TCAB, that's right, thank you very much. And all of those have been great experiences, so I just enjoy serving the community. And I'd also say that Mayor, you have a bunch of good applicants. I'm happy not to sit on the committee if you have other people. She was very well spoken and great, and I thought she was a great candidate. So.
Well, nice of you to say that.
Thank you.
Carol?
What would you, in terms of experience, training, and passion, bring to our committees that would be a benefit to the city?
Well, I think that the experience that I've had the last few years, couple of years, working with the committees that exist has been rewarding to me. Hopefully, I've been able to contribute to those, but I've certainly learned and gained an interest in what those groups are doing. So we've begun some very exciting projects in the historic group, also in parks. I've really also enjoyed getting together with the staff and learning and getting to know some of the staff here in the city, which are a bunch of wonderful people. I don't know if I answered that question.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Hey, Jim.
Hey there.
Have you attended any of the, either committee's meetings or followed any of the recent agenda topics?
I have. I've attended all of them.
Let's see, can you commit to attending nightly meetings? Let's see, let's see, it's the fourth Thursday of the month, and Town Center Advisory on the second Thursday of the month.
Yes.
Yes. And do you have any questions of us?
I don't think so. Just that I'm happy to serve. If there's other places that I can serve that would be better, I'm happy to do those as well. But also, I don't want to overserve. If there are others that need the experience, I'm happy to step aside and let somebody else fill a seat.
Hey, Dave, can I get any clarification?
Yes.
What is he applying for?
Storage.
It's HLC, I'm not.
Well, it says on the application Parks Advisory, but on the front we have HLC and TCAP.
So I believe my park seat is still in effect, but I'm looking at HLC, and then also I serve as a liaison on the TCAB, but I noticed there's a vacant seat, so I'd be happy to fill a vacant seat if that's needed.
But that's not what you're applying for.
HLC is what I'm here for
Yeah.
tonight, I believe.
Yeah, because his application is here.
Yeah.
I did put in for both, but I don't know what you all see.
Doesn't have parks.
But he's already on parks.
He's already on.
So
already on.
He's just applying for
reapplied.
HLC.
He's reapplied, his HLC term
No,
is
he's applying
expired,
for HLC,
Right.
but he's already on parks, that's not expired.
he's already on.
Yeah.
But he has to apply for it.
And he represents
But he's
parks on
applying for the
TCAP.
position.
That's,
Okay.
it's not that clear. Okay,
It's okay,
Will.
Jim.
Will has a question.
Could someone help me please clarify, is it only 2 committees you can serve on? Is that correct?
No.
No, okay.
There's no
limit?
there's no rule like that.
I don't know where I got that from.
Nice try, Will.
Is there the parks
Liaison.
liaison, and then there's also a state landmark liaison in there.
I'm not filling that one, someone else is right there, or was.
Yes, Adrian, but
Thank
he may be, he was just in, and he may be transitioning out of that, and that would be a natural fit.
Let's see, where are we on the questions? He's attended the meeting, so, and he's willing to serve on wherever.
We were done.
Any questions for
You're
us?
done.
Yeah, we're done.
You have
No,
any?
thanks for the opportunity.
Jim,
Well,
we got through it.
Jim, thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you
Jim.
very much. We'll let you know. Diane?
Jim, is that your water bottle?
It is, thank you.
Good thinking. Diane? Oh, okay. Yeah, coming around the.
Hello,
Hi.
Ray Young,
Hello, hello.
Moonlight, Tiffany, Aaron, and everyone else.
Good evening, Diane.
Good evening.
Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and how your work and volunteer experience would help you in serving on the CAC?
Thank you. I've lived here for about 33 years, and I counted the mayors. There's been 6 that I've been going to council meetings now. So starting with Paul Telfer, and then it's been 6 now. I've always enjoyed going to the meetings, learning, understanding what's going on in our community, and then later on became involved and started participating on committees. I also participated in my area on, had the pleasure of working with the chamber and helping with parades, being on the Troutdale Historical Society board for several years. I helped start the current display that we have in the barn at this time. I've also volunteered at churches. I raised money, fundraised, and had sent kids to Missions for Mexico, where they got to build homes for those that were in need for several years. So I raised the money for that, and then I also did the logistic works and getting their passports and getting them down there. Done a lot of things around here, and I really enjoy Troutdale and participating and volunteering wherever I was able to do so.
Thank you. What would you, in terms of experience, training, and passion, bring to our committee that would be a benefit to the city? We've seen a lot of it, but do you want to talk a little bit?
Yeah, well, I just love Troutdale, and I really enjoy the collaborative efforts of everybody coming together and participating in projects that are given to the CAC, or TCAB is really special because we're working on the downtown. I also was a professional artist. I did pottery at the Portland Saturday Market for 10 years, and it's really neat because it's kind of like Troutdale's a painting. And so there's all these little parts that come together with its beauty, with community, how we gather, how we get to participate in our civics here, and get to contribute to council. I really enjoyed being on all committees.
I'm gonna double this one. The question is, have you attended meetings? Of course, we know you have. Meetings all over the minutes and great contributions.
Thank you.
Can you continue to commit to those evenings?
Yes, I really enjoy it too. It's something I'd miss. So I have other friends too. It's just not the committee members, but it is a pleasure to come together with other people who are really excited about Troutdale, its direction, caring for the people, making it better than we found it, and just giving vital input to things that I may have learned from going to all the council meetings or contributing to the committees. And then it kind of I enjoy being able to gather from the past to contribute to the present conversation so that we can try to assure the best outcome in the future that we can for Troutdale.
Would you be interested in serving on a different committee or getting involved in a special ad hoc committee that might be created during the year?
I think I'm at a good spot right now. I'm really enjoying TCAB because I started with the urban renewal a couple decades ago, passing out flyers, and history. History is great. I love the historic landmarks. CAC to me is the heart of the committees of Troutdale, and I really enjoy being on that. It's because you get a little bit of everything. It's legislation, it's rules, it's community. Should we do chickens? Should we not allow chickens? And if we do allow chickens, what are the parameters that we can have cleanliness, have good stewardship to our neighbors and such? So that one is just so fun. It's just so well-rounded, and we get to dive in a little bit of everything. And then the things that we learned that we get tasked with the council, and that makes it fun too, because then there's a lot of research involved. Like when we decided how we were gonna elect our council, we solicited a professional of elections that contributed to the news stations, got input from him, and it's really cool because we could do some as deep dives as we would like to do so. So I'm kind of in my preferred spot at this time.
Diane, that concludes the questions we have for you. Is there anything you have for the committee?
No, it's just anybody I worked with, it's just really neat that there's a lot of people who care for Troutdale, and it's just a joy to work with everyone in any capacity to enhance our livability. And I thank you for this time, in your time.
Thank you, Diane.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Tammy, did you have a follow-up?
No, I'm good.
Diane, okay. Is that what you said? Well, break. Anybody want a break?
Might be a good idea.
Yeah, let's take a break. We're,
Do we want to finish, Rich, on this, like?
yeah, Rich,
and then-
if you feel up to it, we'll take you and then we'll take a break.
And then we'll
I'm
finish
gonna go
this.
ahead and take a break and then, I'm gonna go to.
Okay. All right, let's take a break.
Right? What a drama.
You know, 5 minutes, make it short. We got a lot.
Which number, which preference, you know what I mean? Because if they applied for 3 minutes,
They do have that, they're supposed
it's
to. Yeah,
on the actual application.
yeah, it
It's
is,
like,
but not everybody is really, and I think it's, they probably couldn't use the, if they did it online. and let it-
Okay,
yeah,
where
because
were
mine, I don't think
I think it
selected.
was John, but I could go and.
No, I mean,
oh, no.
Rich, yeah, but who's asking?
There's a dot in there, I don't know.
John.
John, okay.
It's kind of warm in here, when you walk out there and come back in, you can
I
tell.
know, yeah, it's good to move. Dave, thanks for letting us move, it's important.
Yeah, it's good to get out. Okay,
Now
hey,
we're
John,
gonna be
you're
behind a
up.
little
I
bit.
know.
Rich
All
out.
right, Rich. Tell us about yourself, including how your work or volunteer experience will help you in serving on this committee.
That's an interesting one. Well, I think I know everybody here, so it's not too many secrets. I have a very, very diverse background. It wasn't until we moved to Troutdale that I actually settled down. And so when you ask me about my experiences, what I know about is pretty diverse. And so, I guess that's why I've taken to Troutdale so well, is that, you know, being settled down, you get to know the people, you love the community, and being able to take those experiences and use it for the betterment of my neighbors, that's making a difference. And so that's why I'm here.
So what would you, in terms of experience, training, and passion, bring to the PSAC committee that would benefit the city?
Well, we're getting to be old farts, so that means we travel around a lot and visit places, and I'm unfiltered. I go and I visit people, and I'm not held back by that. And I ask them, you know, how are things? I'll talk to the police, I'll talk to the fire department, I'll talk to people who've been fighting the range fires, and find out from them what their experiences are and how they're doing and what were their good ideas and so forth. And, you know, just by opening up those lines of communication with other cities and going to the different events, like night out events and so forth, you pick up a lot of good ideas, and you kind of like to bounce those ideas off to others and see what they think, and improve the environment for our people. So a lot of people think about public safety. They think about, you know, the cost of public safety. They don't actually think about the cost of lack of public safety. And we're not just talking about the safety aspect of it, but if you're in an environment where your crime rate goes up, your insurance goes up. If you're in an environment where the crime rate is high, your stores may close, right? If your fire service starts to lack in response time, then your homeowner's insurance increases. So there's costs also for not doing public safety beyond just the health and well-being of our population.
Thank you. Or did you ask this one? Okay. Rich, you've been a committed volunteer for a long time, so I'll save you the, can you commit to nightly meetings?
Where I show up?
Yeah, have you been following along? We know the answer to that.
Yeah.
So I will ask you though, would you be interested in serving on a different committee or getting involved in a special ad hoc committee that may be created during the year?
Well, so like I said, I'm not here because I have a lack of things to do. I'm here because of wanting to make a difference. So if you know of something, you all know me, if you know of something where I may be of service or can help or contribute, then I'll be open to that, yes.
Do you have any questions of us?
I know you pretty well too.
I know.
And your
I
neighbor's
agree.
telling you what I don't know.
I know you.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I didn't expect you to have questions, but you know where to reach us.
I am very happy to see all the people here. Most of you started on committees. I'm happy to see the bumper crop of people volunteering for committees. You know, it wasn't always that way. There were times when we were just begging people to serve on multiple committees because we didn't have enough. So this is a good problem to have.
Yeah.
And whatever you decide, be happy to support it.
Well, thanks, Rich.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it. Appreciate everything. We'll go on to Frank Stevens. Welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Of course, my ride home is right behind me, so.
Well, very good. Frank, I'll start out with, tell us about yourself, including how your work or volunteer experience will help you in serving on this committee. I know you're on a couple committees, and you're applying for a couple more.
Yeah, so this is try two for planning and parks, which I put in for last year, but I didn't get the openings there. So those are my passions. But that being said, 34 years here in Troutdale. We moved out here in '91, lived at the Columbia Crest Apartments when we first started out, back when it was still fields, cabbage fields between here and Gresham, and 12 Mile was where everything ended. So we've seen the transition over the 30 years that we've been here, 30 plus years. Yeah, and watched the kids grow up. I was a lot more active in the community in the 90s, obviously. When 9/11 hit, my job as an aircraft mechanic with fighter jets kind of took off. Things got a little busy. Since then, I've kind of been busy with that. So for me, this is an opportunity after having the faceless opportunity at the national level, working with state, working with all the other agencies. It's kind of nice to come back to people I know. And that's kind of why I'm here. So I'm here for those guys that are in my neighborhood. I'm here for the guys that, you know, are having a tough time getting across the street. I'm here for my 8 and 80 group, the kids that are trying to get to school safely, the parents that are trying to figure out why we have traffic in certain areas and that kind of thing. Public safety is high on my list. Heavily engaged in the current parks program. I kind of adopted the Choctaw Trail and Sandy River Trail. It's something I'm heavily involved with. Been doing, and went back to college and finished up my degree. So now I have a graduate degree in transportation equity. Yeah, from Portland State.
Great.
I'm gonna just kind of go to this. Could you just talk about how your passion or what would you bring with your passion to the committee, and how would that be a benefit to the city?
So my passion I'm very into bottom-up type work. So I usually go to I'm looking for the guy with a shovel typically. That's how I work. It's the same way I worked in the military. If you want to know what's going on, go to the guys that's actually on the front line. I kind of bring that same approach to what I've been doing in the city for the past year. And it's developed some great relationships. And you just kind of watch and learn. And I try and listen more than I talk. And that's been very useful. So a lot of the skills that I picked up from my military background are now applying to a local capacity as well.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I know the answers to these, but have you attended any of the committee meetings or followed their recent agenda topics?
Have I attended any? A number, yes. Historic, CAC. And then I usually attend public safety I get involved with. I wanted to brief them on some of my concerns down on the Choctaw Trail, as well as Sandy River Delta. I think we've got some work to do there. And then where we're going with the urban renewal area. Yeah, I think the next 5 years are really going to determine where the city is going. And I'd like to be a part of where that next 20 years is going to be. And I would really like to see us thinking strategically rather than reactively, which we're not seeing in a lot of other cities. Yeah, we have to be thinking further down the road than just 5 years, honestly.
Thanks. So Planning Commission meets the second Wednesday and occasionally the fourth Wednesday of the month. Parks Advisory Committee meets the third Wednesday of each month. Public Safety and Equity Advisory Committee meets on the first Thursday of each month. And you have TCAB meets on an as-needed basis, at least quarterly on the second Thursday of every month, and obviously there's a lot going on there.
Yeah.
Do you have time for all those?
Yeah, so I actually did a test run for the past year. So I've been attending most of the meetings, if you guys haven't noticed. Just for the sake of seeing, hey, is this doable? Can I actually do this and fit it into my schedule? And yeah, actually it is. So I'm finding that it will work. I like how I can bring something to each one of those areas because as a crew chief, I have a master of all skills, but not of all of them. So it's nice to have the general knowledge of everything, and I think I'm bringing those skills to each committee as well.
And it seems ridiculous to ask you this, but would you be interested in serving on a different committee or getting involved in a special ad hoc committee that may be created during the year?
Yeah.
Is there anyone you aren't on?
Yeah.
Looking at?
Yeah, definitely. I think we have, especially talking to the council, when we're talking about strategic planning, I think that's a great opportunity for some ad hoc committees. We currently have a comprehensive plan, but I don't really see a city strategic plan. I'm also on this Gresham Planning Commission at this time right now as well. So I do have a background in the planning arena, as well as my Portland State University master's degree in planning as well. So that's helpful. It does help me out with the timelines too, so I know how to do research pretty quickly. I know how to skim. Does that answer your question? Thank you.
You have any questions of us?
No, you guys.
Hold on, Will seems to have another one.
Just a quick question. We've got a lot of great candidates and it may be difficult to find spots for everyone. If you were to rank in your preference of passion or preference, what would you suggest would be your?
Yeah, actually I put that in my application. Okay. So it was 1 through 4. I started out with planning since that was the first one. I wasn't here last year because my son was graduating from Harvard. So that was kind of important. And then parks. I took on CAC and the Historic Landmarks Commission just as an extra because they needed good people. And I'm okay with staying with those. But if you need openings, like on CAC and other positions, let me know. Yeah, I'm willing to, if you need the opening, let me know. I'd be willing to drop. Yeah, I don't need to be on it. It's okay.
Have any questions of us?
No, I think I'm good, sir.
All right, well, hey, thank you.
Good luck with the next
for everything,
candidate.
and yeah, thanks. Yeah. And thanks for applying. Well, Gail Stevens.
I thought they were gonna fix the AC in here for you guys.
It's still a little warm. Hi, I'm Gail Stevens. It feels a little warm anyways. I can tell by the flush on everybody's faces, so. Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Who's next?
Tanny.
Forget where we are.
Good evening, Gail. Thank you for being here this evening. Can you tell us a little about yourself and how your work or volunteer experience would help you in serving on the budget committee?
Okay, I have been a resident, actually my husband and I have been a resident for 34 years. I can actually remember the day he drove me out to Troutdale for the first time, shortly after we arrived here in Oregon. And he had planned on starting to attend Mount Hood Community College, and hey, it was close to the highway, it was close to his base, and I could get downtown. So it was a great place to kind of start building our lives. We've been here 34 years, raised our family, lived in our single family home down there, gotten to know our neighbors, have been part of the community, getting involved, of course, with the schools, volunteering for things along that line, had kids in sports, had kids in theater, had kids that are adopted that went through the police crew here. Actually did ride-alongs and with the city of Gresham and out in this area. I always loved that we were the end of the urban zone, and what we see is kind of what we got, but we watched Troutdale grow in the last 30 years and really fill in with neighborhoods and with stores. My volunteering had heavily been based on, what my kids were involved with at the time. Whatever they're involved with, I'd volunteer for the leadership group at my daughter's gymnastics club, or on whatever group had to do with the cheerleading. Raised another gal that moved in with us and got her all the way through college at OSU, and all of our kids through college at this point. So I just love Troutdale. I mean, I love that this has always been my home base. I love seeing the mountain, even when it rains. At least every 10 days it pops out. I know what Purple Mountain's majesty now means, but those words are true. They're not the same as the East Coast. It's so beautiful out here. I'm just thankful to be here, and I love being in Troutdale.
What would you, in terms of experience, training, and passion, bring to our committee that would be a benefit to the city?
Well, I'm rather unique in that I love numbers. So I'm very passionate about numbers, and most people go, oh, okay. Numbers tell stories. Over the last decade, I have worked for the state with Department of Human Services with two of their largest budgets, where there were 2 budget analysts on each budget. I did the personnel and the materials and services and anything related to capital. I did that for a year, but unfortunately my two daughters were in the gym at the time of the high school shooting, and a year later I needed to return closer to home. So I managed to find a job as the Chief Financial Officer for a Oregon Commission for the Blind. It's a small state agency that's located on 12th in Portland area. It was great because I could be close to home, 20-minute drive, can't believe it was so awesome. Be able to be close to that, but it also taught me a lot about DEI, it taught me a lot about community, it taught me so much more than I knew about how to be passionate about the things you do. And so for the 5 years that I was there, one of the things that I achieved was, improving this, improving that, improving audits, improving stuff, but I was also able to support the entity to be able to get more support from the state with general fund and stuff like that. I was the budget officer there. So I've been the budget officer or a budget analyst for 10 years. I can look at the city's budget and I get it. I understand it. I can turn to the pages and explain it to Frank, who's not a numbers person, which is fine. Not everyone is, and that is my forte. I've just completed 4 years with a local government agency, so I understand local budget law. I don't need to be trained in it. I had to comply with it and was audited in that. And so I understand how the process works, also based on what actuals and stuff look like, how we're doing, what it looks like year on year, understand the matrix, financial statements I can read. So I'm just someone who can translate the numbers to the story that they're telling, because the numbers tell the story, not always the people. You'll hear stories, but you can look in the number. I can look at the numbers and see if that pattern actually really exists. So it's the boxes on the application forced everything to compress, so I included the last 10 years of my resume for you to also look at to see what my experience is.
Yeah, you're up. Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Have you attended any of the committee's meetings or followed any of the recent agenda topics?
Yeah, I sat through all 3 meetings for the budget committee, and I also came last December for the budget update. I hadn't been able to, it's actually something I've looked at to be on the budget committee for at least the last 4 or 5 years. However, as a budget officer and having budget meetings, they happen to fall almost on the same nights that you guys have them. So I wasn't able to start getting involved at that point. I'm passionate about budgets and about numbers and about actuals. I'm one of those crazy people that actually likes this. But I also know how to have a conversation about it. So that is something that I have been able to attend and because of the availability.
Can you commit to attending night meetings? Budget committee meets 2 to 4 times in April and/or May, and may hold a work session in November or December.
Absolutely, 100%.
Excellent.
You've probably seen there are a lot of candidates applying to various committees. Would you be interested in serving on a different committee or getting involved in any special or ad hoc committees that may be created during the year?
Special and ad hoc, absolutely. I think my strengths and my skill set fit best with the budget committee.
Okay.
Frank really does a lot of the other stuff. He's kind of more the generalist, and I'm definitely a numbers person. If there was really something you thought I could do with my experience other than budget, I would be willing to have a conversation with you.
Okay, thank you.
You have any questions for us?
No.
All right, well, thank you. We'll be letting you know.
All right, sounds great.
Very soon.
Y'all hang in there.
And thanks for applying. I really appreciate it. All right. Jordan Whittrip. How you doing?
Doing well. How is everybody? Nice to see everybody. It's been a while.
Good to see you.
All right, welcome. Tell us about yourself, including how your work or volunteer experience will help you in the serving process.
So I've been a resident of Troutdale now going on a decade. Instantly, I felt a responsibility to participate, volunteer, be part of the community, help the community grow. I've had, I would say, extensive volunteer experience here in Troutdale, being on former PSAC chair, former planning commission, budget, TCAB, public safety working group, and I'm positive I'm forgetting something else.
City council.
Yeah, city council, hey, that's a good one, city council for a couple of years. So after not being reelected, I thought it's my obligation to get back on a committee and keep doing my part. I've worked all over the state. I've seen a lot of towns, a lot of how everybody works in different municipalities. I think I got a good grasp on where we've been heading, what we need, and how to help still support Troutdale.
What would you, in terms of experience, training, and passion, bring to the committee that would benefit the city?
Obviously, a lot of experience already on different committees and city council. Passion, I have a very strong passion for Troutdale. Troutdale is my home. It's all of our homes, and we need to protect it and do what's right for everybody. So, very passionate.
Jordan,
Big one.
have you attended any of the committee meetings or followed any of their recent agenda topics?
Yeah, I went back and I've watched the last couple meetings for PSAC, and just to make sure that the flow is still the same and the priorities are still the same. And but yeah, I'm very familiar with the committee.
Great.
Great. All right, the PSAC meets first Thursday of each month. You can commit to that?
I have a new job, and right now my schedule, this isn't gonna be a problem. Long-term, I don't know what it is, and that's one reason why I only applied for one committee at this point, because I don't want to disappoint. I don't want to put all my effort in. So right now, no issues.
Great. All right.
Hey. Happy to see you here. So I know you kind of answered this, but would you be interested in serving on a different committee or getting involved with some special ad hoc committee that may be created?
If there's an ad hoc and it fits into my schedule, or if there's a strong need and you decide that, hey, we're willing to take the risk long-term, he might not be here, then that's fine. I just want to be upfront about it. I just don't know what my long-term schedule is going to be.
Okay. And then do you have any questions for the group?
No, I'm pretty well versed. I think I'm good. Perfect. So,
Well, thanks.
Thank you.
For applying, thanks for everything. Good to see you. Let's go on to Heidi Timberman.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi, tell us about about yourself, including how your work or volunteer experience will help you in serving on this committee?
Heidi Timberman, I've been here in Troutdale for 30 years now. Raised my kids here. I've worked in Troutdale. I love it here. Yeah, I've served on the budget committee, just ending my first term. It's my first foray into volunteer public service. Yeah, I just love it here. I'm a numbers person, I'm a budget person, which will lead into your next question. So I've worked for Portland Parks and Recreation for 10 years and was helping with the budget with that. I've just finished my 8th budget for the Corbett Fire District 14. So I'm well versed in it. And as Gail is, I am a numbers person. I love spreadsheets. I love budgets, and people do not understand me.
We won't hold that against you.
I hope not. That's what I do.
Well, I know you were at the last budget meeting, so I'm gonna skip that one.
Yes, I will.
All of them. Can you commit to attending them going forward, meeting 2 to 4 times in April or May, and possibly work session in November or December?
Yes. Got them on my calendar.
Fantastic.
Would you be interested in serving on a different committee or getting involved in a special ad hoc committee that may be created during the year?
That was not an option for me right now. I have 3 different jobs and I have a lot of evening meetings, and so this is the one thing I know I can do.
Do you have any questions for us?
Nope.
Well, thank you, Heidi, really appreciate it. Appreciate your service on the budget committee. All right, next is Aaron Baumgarten. Welcome. And who's next? Tanny.
Good evening, Erin.
Good evening.
And can you tell us a little about yourself and how your work or volunteer experience would help you?
Yeah. I've been a resident of Troutdale since 2005. I did graduate from Corbett High School, so was out there for a long time. My family's of the area. This is my 15th year working for the Reynolds School District. I spent 12 years at Reynolds High School as a special education teacher. And then the last few years, I've been a teacher on special assignment, which is still a teacher, but it's a leadership position. So I'm working with a lot of teams at the secondary level, talking to all sorts of people, working through all sorts of problems, working with our, highest need students and solving kind of any issues that come up with them. So I would say I'm a good problem solver, and obviously I've been in this city and working for that district for a very long time. So, it's where I want to be. It's and so I'm a mother of 3, but they're all 7 and older now. So I'm kind of feel like I need to get involved a little bit in the community. So since they're a little bit older, I do feel like I have the time to do that. I would say, if you know Molly, she works Parks and Rec, she knows me by name because I've done a lot of her programs and, all the things that she has, she's put out there for Parks and Rec. So I believe that is a little bit different than the Parks Committee, but that is the one that I would be most interested in, but also anything like historical also. So what else do you want to know?
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'll ask another question.
Okay.
What was you in terms of experience, training, and passion bringing to this committee, and how would that benefit the city?
Okay, so I have no experience with this at all, but I'm interested in learning more, and I can commit to something and, figure it out. So this is all new experience for me, for sure. But I think just the amount of people that I work with on a daily basis and how I have to work through everybody's personality and, you know, like, just get to know people and what they need and working as a team. I think I could I think that's probably a huge part of a committee, I'm guessing, I don't know. But I'd be, you know, available to do that, so, yeah, yes.
Have you had the opportunity to attend any of the committee
I have
meetings or follow any?
I'm sorry, no, I have not. It sounds like I can watch recordings of these things, so, okay, yeah. I watched you all interview city councilors, you know, a few months ago, so I did that, but no, I'm sorry.
Can you commit to attend nightly meetings? The Parks Advisory Committee, which sounds like what you're mostly interested in, we meet the third Wednesday of each month at
Okay.
like 7 p.m.
Yes, I can commit to that.
And the other ones are various times, but to add to that question, it sounds like you're most interested in parks, and then the other two.
Yeah, what else did I say?
Town Center was number 2,
Oh,
and
yeah.
Historic Landmarks was
Really,
number
any
3.
of those I am very interested in, so
Okay.
I would try them all out.
Hi, I'm Erin Jansen, I'm the chair of the Historic Landmarks Commission.
Yes.
You made a comment, I'm gonna interrupt the flow of our questions a little bit, but you made a comment about what interests, about anything historical, you said, referring to things that interested you.
Yeah.
What is it about that?
Well,
Can you elaborate a little bit more?
father is like an avid reader and history buff, very unassuming, you wouldn't know that looking at him, but so he's kind of just all, you know, he'll bring up the most random things, topics, and you know, that gets me interested in it, and then we'll read books together and all that. But he knows a lot about the area, and there's names, he'll know names of people, and he's trying to tell me who these people are and how they're connected to our family, and like, he'll just go deep diving in these things. So I'm kind of wanting to, a little bit selfishly, relate to him more, and maybe we can have that kind of bond and conversation and all that. But also, he might be a big source of info, and so kind of maybe do something like this and kind of get him a little excited about it and get some secret details. Maybe there's some secret Troutdale details that nobody knows that he knows, because he has his ways. So anyway, yeah, excited about that kind of stuff.
All right, so the question I'm supposed to ask you was, would you be interested in serving on any different committee or getting involved in a special ad hoc committee that might be created during the year?
Yeah, I am, yeah. I mean, you know, primarily anything that's, I guess, not numbers, that would be not me. I want more, maybe a little more, I don't know, I don't wanna say numbers aren't fun, never mind. Yeah, a little more interesting. I do a lot of numbers at work with like data and paperwork and all that kind of stuff, so maybe a little less of that.
Do you have any questions of us?
I don't, this is all new to me, so just excited to see how things go.
All right, well,
Yeah.
we thank you for applying.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks so much for coming. Kevin, you're up.
Okay. Matter up. Good evening, my name is Kevin Minkoff, and I'm here to interview for the Budget Committee.
I get to start you.
Okay.
So, tell us about yourself, including how your work or volunteer experience will help you in serving on the Budget Committee.
I'll start by saying that 28 years ago, I moved with my family to Gresham, worked downtown for a CPA firm for a year, trying to get my bearings, understand the lay of the land while picking up clients in Gresham and in Troutdale and in Sandy, East County. I even spoke to the partners of the firm and said, why don't you open up, this was, by the way, on the west side, downtown. Why don't you open up a east side branch? oh, there's nothing going on the east side. Well, I was living in Gresham. I knew darn well that wasn't the case. 28 years ago, there was a lot going on, and there still is. Well, a year later, I opened up my own practice in Gresham, and in fact, it was in the old police station underneath the Chamber of Commerce on Powell, which building's no longer there. And within a year of working in Troutdale and Gresham and all East County, I got involved, well, I was already involved in the Gresham Chamber of Commerce. I got involved in the Troutdale Chamber of Commerce, and within a year, I ended up on the board of directors for the Troutdale Area Chamber of Commerce, which doesn't exist anymore, at least not in name. And that was when Paul Tollifer was mayor and Diane McKeel was the executive director, and I worked on all kinds of items with the Chamber of Commerce. One of them, a transportation trolley that you're now re-looking at, but we got that going back then. And I've had a passion for the Troutdale area ever since. I was, like I say, I was involved in the downtown before any of that north side was developed the way it is today. And I am the kind of person that likes to put my efforts behind my interests, not just complain on social media. You know, this is not good, or I would like to do that, or whatever, and that's it. I volunteer for the Chamber of Commerce. I volunteered for the CAC and the Budget Committee, although I was an alternate. So that's where my personal passions lie with Troutdale. I should also finish by saying I've been a resident now of Troutdale for the last 12 years. And as far as my wife and I are concerned, this is our forever home, right off Troutdale Road, which I just learned is a county road, not a city road. But that's a whole different discussion.
So what would you, in terms of your experience, training, and passion, bring to the committee that would benefit the city?
I saved my discussion of my work experience because that is part of the first question that you asked. What about your passion and your work experience makes you suitable for this? So I saved the fact that I've been a CPA for over 40 years, which I thought would have put me at the top of the list a year plus ago when I volunteered for the Budget Committee. And there were a lot of fine candidates also running then. And I very quickly learned that with the help of Mr. Young, with the help of Ray and of Eric, that doing budgeting and financial statements for for-profit entities is quite a bit different than budgeting, the budget process for government agency. I had been doing budgeting and tax work and consulting for nonprofit organizations, quite a few, Southeast Works, and my father's house, and I helped them with their system. So I understand what a nonprofit, but again, local budget law is a completely different animal. But that's also my background, my education, and my CPA license says I need 80 hours of continuing education every 2 years. So I learn. Tax laws change every year. So I study and I learn. A year plus ago, Eric, with Ray, handed me a local budget pamphlet and said, here, I think it would be well if you read through this. Well, I certainly did. And then not long after that, I signed up for it's a 4.5-hour, 3-session course on local budget law put on by the Oregon Department of Revenue. And I trained and studied to get a much better handle. I already have the financial acumen, and now I am, having gone through 2 budget cycles, I've been on the committee for just over a year, so that actually was 2 budget cycles for the city. I have a much better level of education for what it takes to create a budget for the city. And my frustration, honestly, for the last year has been I didn't have a voice. I could come to the microphone as a public citizen or private citizen of Troutdale, like anyone else, but that's what, I was an alternate and not an actual voting member. And I would very much like the opportunity to be a voting member and have a voice. And I would think maybe even have influence to take a deeper dive into the budget and the sections of the budget and how they're calculated and what are the restrictions. Why do we have such big surplus funds in each of those areas of the budget? What makes them up? Why can't they be utilized in other areas and so on? So I think I've answered the question enough.
Yeah, Kevin, you've been our alternate now on budget, so I know you're committed to the nightly meetings and you definitely follow along. So I'm gonna skip down to the last question, which is, would you be interested in serving on a different committee or getting involved in a special ad hoc committee if one is formed?
Well, if it turns out that you select other candidates for the budget committee, I would consider two other interests, not as great as the budget committee, just again, because of my background, would be TCAB and parks. But I say that hesitatingly. Don't put stars by them or anything. Take that budget committee and that's where the stars should go. Yeah.
Any questions of us?
I do. One, and I think I can guess the answer, but why aren't we doing First Friday on July 4th? That seems to me like it would be an absolute awesome time to get the community together for the July 4th holiday. Now, when I say I think I can guess maybe what the answer might be, I don't want to put words in anyone's mouth, but you know, if everybody shows up with their sparklers and their fireworks and so on, it could be
Dangerous?
kind of dangerous. Yeah, well, yeah. And tell that to all the neighborhood firework displays that go on all throughout. But it's not illegal in Troutdale, which is kind of surprised me too, with all the forest and next to the gorge. But no, I would think 4th of July would be an outstanding time to have a community event, the first Friday.
Corbett's got it covered.
What's that?
Corbett's got it covered.
Corbett's got it covered.
Also, last July, it was blazing hot and they had to cancel it anyway. So we couldn't, the booths, it was just too hot to sit out there. So.
Well, if it's
that's my
anything like
experience.
this May, anyway, that was my only question.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
Appreciate your applying and reapplying, and thanks for coming. Next is Will.
My turn in the hot seat.
Yeah. Got a couple of.
Dennis.
That's the same as they keep it. It's really good.
All right, I guess Jeffrey, you take it.
Okay, I'm ready. Hey, look at that, just whip right over there. Could you tell us a little bit about yourself, including your work or volunteer experience, and how it will help you in serving on the committee?
Yes, my name is Will Knight, and I've lived in Troutdale since 2001, right up here on Hungry Hill. I am currently running, along with my brother, a small family business in a very extremely competitive industry here in the state. I currently am the chair of TCAP and on the Citizens Advisory Committee, for which I'm here to reapply for tonight. I am a constant learner. I have to be constantly downloading information, and the information age is exactly, I think, where my brain needs to be, and absolutely love learning and experiencing and getting that sort of educational growth as well.
Perfect. What would you, in terms of experience, training, and passion, bring to our committees that would be benefit to the city?
I will say these two questions are kind of awkward, and maybe we could figure out a way to rephrase them for the future. Because I always don't know where to stop and where to begin, because it's kind of the same question.
Yeah.
You know, I really enjoy puzzles and problem solving. I enjoy getting tasked with a challenge that I haven't encountered before, and I enjoy working through that and trying to, you know, sometimes mediating outcomes that are agreeable to, you know, everyone, where compromises have to be made. I also am a person that generally doesn't take no for an answer, and it's like, well, there's got to be a way to get this done. Everybody wants to get it done. Let's figure out a way to get it done. So I really enjoy those sorts of things. As far as passion goes, like I said, I've lived here for 25 years. I love this place. I've seen a ton of growth. The stuff that we're doing downtown with these First Fridays and the town center and the confluence, you know, these are all things that are really exciting and new, and Troutdale has really done a great job of developing these programs over the past few years. The town center, and seeing this come to finally to a point where we're potentially going to be looking at moving forward. I mean, I was on the original Urban Renewal Advisory Board back in, like, what was that, 05 or 6 or something like that, 09 maybe? I forget when it was. So it's nice to be able to you know, see that come around again and be here in one place and seeing that history happen right before my eyes. I also really enjoy the citizen involvement aspect of it. I was on CAC with Glenn back in the early 2000s, and then somewhere around 2008-09, I took a short break, and it was a topic that came up where I was passionate about, wanted to come back and speak in front of the city council, and at that time, I was so nervous I was almost shaking. And to be able to go through that personal growth and to potentially, and I'm hoping we can do this with CAC, really outline and show people how easy it is to come here and talk to you all and, you know, make it more accessible and approachable. And so I enjoy that part of the citizen involvement, the part of helping shaping the future. And again, like I said, personal growth, you know, a sense of purpose and accomplishment outside of work. You know, being a family business, sometimes you're in your own echo chamber and you're like, you know, who's crazy here? Am I crazy or you're crazy? And to be able to get out and amongst my peers in the community and get a sense of basing, you know, is really helpful for me as well in personal growth. And again, it helps me to be challenged in new and different ways, which I really appreciate and enjoy.
The next two are pretty straightforward, and I think I already answered, so I'm not sure a little bit of a curveball, and just ask you something that you're proud of or excited about from that CAC.
Good question. You know, I think one of our biggest projects that we did this last year was, as Chair Harrington mentioned earlier, that CAC finally figured out what we were supposed to be doing in relation to what the state law was, and now we have an exciting opportunity to really look at the citizen involvement. What are we doing? How is it working? And I guess my question back would be, what the heck did we do to get 27 people this time? We need to figure out what that was, and is it just a cyclical momentum, or was there some sort of outreach we did to get these results? And so I think with CAC, that's been a big one. Recently, you know, a fun ones come up all the time, and like Diane mentioned, we always are getting something different and interesting to look at. And when she mentioned the chickens, that was actually one of my all-time favorites, because it seems like such a simple thing, but how in the world did I get to go to figure out chickens in Troutdale, and then next week we're interviewing $1 billion development down behind the outlet mall? I mean, it's crazy. It's fun.
Great answer, thank you.
Okay, so, can you commit to attending nightly meetings? The citizen advisory meets the first Wednesday.
Absolutely.
Would you be interested in serving on any other committees or any ad hoc committees that might come up during the year?
Not at this time. I feel CAC is a great fit for me. If there is too many people, and I would still probably show up and just participate from public perspective. So if there's not enough room, I'm happy to step down. And then with TCAB, I once again was challenged into a role that I didn't expect as chair, and I think that's a good challenge for me as well. Just that one, what the heck did we do to get all these people? This is great.
Good question. All right, thanks, Will.
Will, if you were ever nervous, it didn't show. You always present yourself.
I was nervous right there.
Really?
That's why I had to write notes, otherwise I would forget.
All right, Shelby, you're up.
Shelby Stephenson.
Okay, tell us about yourself, including your work or volunteer. Were you supposed to ask that since you just sat down? Okay. Including your work or volunteer experience that would help you in serving on this committee.
Okay, well, let's see about me. I'm married, have a couple of grown children. I've been a resident of Troutdale for over 35 years. I've volunteered for lots of activities for my kids growing up, all the different things that they did. And I volunteered at church. When my kids were now grown and out the door, that's when I jumped in and got involved here in the city. So I've been on the Citizen Advisory Committee, which is what I'm reapplying for 3 years ago. And then I got involved in public safety. And so I just thoroughly enjoy trying to help make Troutdale better and contributing and being a voice for others. So.
Great. Shelby, in terms of experience, training, and passion, what would you bring to the, sorry, I'm flipping between CAC, sorry, you just said that would be a benefit to the city?
I've just thoroughly enjoyed contributing as we've reviewed when I first got involved in citizen advisory. Seems like there was so much that we were seeing at the time. There was so many master plans, and those are quite in depth. So that was a lot of reading to prepare for those meetings. Thoroughly enjoyed contributing, bringing various citizens my perspective and my neighbors. And then we've just been citizen advisory this last year. We just got thrown, somebody came to our meeting and asked a question. We said, well, is that our role? Can we do that? So then Ray brought us all this information to delve into what the citizen involvement program is, and that's what we're supposed to task with. So I'm just excited about what we're going to do and we've got a new charter, and so now I'm really excited about bringing more people involved, even though, just like Will said, we don't even know, how did we suddenly get all these more people? This is just really great to apply. So I'm just really excited about trying to reach out to our community, try to get even more people involved, and just their voices to be heard, and taking away the intimidation for coming and bringing concerns, bringing ideas before the various committees. I think that's just so important. We want to break that down, and we want people to feel like they're heard when they come. We take them seriously. We try to implement their ideas or bring concerns, try to address them. So I'm really excited about that.
Redundant questions here. So obviously you've attended meetings. Are you capable of continuing
Yes, I am.
attending meetings? Okay.
Or would you be interested in serving on any different committee or getting involved in a special ad hoc committee that may be created throughout the year?
I would be totally open to serve in whatever capacity. I do love the 2 committees I'm on, but I definitely would be open to anything that comes before the, any ad hocs, or if there's a better spot that you think I could serve.
Shelby, do you have any questions of this group, including Tammy?
I have none.
Okay.
Yes,
All right, well, thanks.
Thank you.
Victoria, you're on. Welcome.
Good evening.
And I guess I'm starting off here. Find my very similar questions to what we've done before. Tell us about yourself, including how your work or volunteer experience will help you in serving on this committee.
I've lived in Troutdale for 45 years. I've been on the one committee that I'm requesting to re-up on for 24 years. So it'd be nice to make it 25. And I'm right now substitute teaching, past nursing, EMT, Zamboni driver.
Wow. Sounds exciting.
So, yeah, both Clackamas and Lloyd. I have lots of volunteer around Troutdale, as most of you know me. I've been around a while. I also volunteer, and I'm on the Reynolds budget committee for the school. That's a sad situation. And that's about it.
That's enough.
What would you, in terms of your experience, training, and passion, bring to those committees that would be a benefit to the city?
My experience with being on the committees, my knowledge of Troutdale, how long I've lived here and worked with things. I really enjoy being on the committees, and I really study a lot. And Ray should have been a school teacher because he loves to give homework. And just as we were saying about the new charter and thing, we had to read and study, and I love research anyway. Right now I'm researching everything for the town center. I'm researching all those companies and things, so.
Thank you.
I already know these answers, but have you attended any of the committee meetings or followed their recent agenda topics?
Have I attended any? Oh, yes.
And you're willing to commit at night?
Pardon?
You're willing to commit to night meetings?
Oh, yeah. I commit whether I'm on vacation or in the hospital. I'm a workaholic. I zoom on in.
And hi, Victoria.
Hi.
I know you're already on quite a few, but are you interested in serving on a different committee or getting involved in a special ad hoc committee that may be created during the year?
If I stay on my one ad hoc, I'll probably say I'm on enough right now.
Do you have any questions for us?
Nope. No, y'all.
All right,
Thank-
thanks, Victoria. That's great. Shelley Reynolds. Well, that's right, she's a letter. Anybody else want to read the, let's just see what it looks like here.
We can read it ourselves, can't we?
I've already read it.
Well, I think it's good to read it into the
I can read it out.
Yeah, just read, yeah.
Right, first question, or first answer, I'm a senior paralegal with a family law firm that practices surrogacy and adoption law. I'm married with 3 adult children, 2 grandchildren, 2 dogs, and 3 cats. I'm committed to having a strong work ethic. We have lived in Troutdale since 2018 and try to participate in the city events and patronize the city businesses. My home sits on the Rowan Park. Second question, or second answer, I have served on Parks Advisory since 2019 and also served for several years on the Citizens Advisory. I participated in many discussions and helped finalize the Parks Master Plan. I'm familiar with the concerns and work within my neighborhood to encourage participation by the public. And I attend all Parks Advisory Committee meetings. I try to attend the city council meetings on Zoom. If unable to attend city council, I review the meetings online. I review all agendas and try to attend committee if I have an interest in a particular agenda item. She is committed to attending night meetings and not interested in anything else at this time.
All right. Let's, yeah, good. Now, Tanny. Tanny, you're up. Welcome.
Good evening,
Not that
everyone.
you haven't been here all evening, but.
Is it me? I'm asking you.
I guess it is.
Tell us about yourself. Can I ask? That seems weird. Go ahead.
All right, Tanny, tell us about yourself, including how your work or volunteer experience will help you in serving on this today.
I moved out here in 1967, and Sam Cox was my next door neighbor. And with Sam Cox as your next door neighbor and being a scout in Troop 174, when your scoutmaster is Bob Sturgis, you learn a lot about giving back and the importance of volunteering and the importance of being part of a community and the things that you need to do. And just how important all of that is for shaping the future of something very special. And I learned that at a young age. And I think it was important to learn that. And that's something that I've tried to do throughout my life, is always try to give back where I can or where it's needed. And that's it.
What would you, in terms of experience, training, and passion, bring to your role? Any benefit to the city?
Very little. Some of this been doing for quite a while, been involved in, government and some other communities, so I think that helps. And you kind of learn things as you go along the way. And it was interesting when someone said, they work with sometimes special needs kids. That can kind of fit in sometimes well with committees too, depending on the work that we're doing. But no, it's a great thing, and I think I do bring passion to it. In particular, I was looking at, and I did see an error on my application. I wrote down that I've been doing TCAB for 5 years. It's actually 8 years. It started in the early summer of 2017. And actually, it really started in 2006 with the urban renewal plan. And you just think, you look at what's happened, that was really kind of a mess down there with the sewage treatment plant. We had that, then we had the aluminum plant, saw the aluminum plant when it was going, saw the aluminum plant when it was gone, and now seeing what's happened with that. And I think we have the same opportunity with this property to do something special with it. And TCAB was something that I got involved with the inception. And I have to tell you, that was probably I think the most diverse group that the city has put together. There was 21 people on that committee, and you had everything under the sun represented. From business to private sector to historian to developer, you name it, you had it. And that was where we got a lot of perspectives and a lot of ideas for what could be down there. And I think it was really beneficial for everyone that participated in that. I think we have a good plan from that, but with that, I also think it's important to, as much as you can, carry forward some of that knowledge of how we got from point A to point B as we go forward. It's a long answer.
Have you attended any of the committee meetings at
On
all?
occasion. On occasion.
Or followed any of the recent topics?
Just, yeah,
Just
here
a
and there,
few?
but yeah.
Okay, good to know.
Okay, Tanny, I think the next two are kind of along similar lines of, whether you can commit to attend night meetings, and we all know that you do and have committed for many, many years, so we thank you for your service that way. But would you be interested in serving on different committees or getting even more involved in some?
Well, I think it's, I feel like I want and need to serve wherever I'm needed. And wherever the community thinks that I would be a benefit, I think that's where, it would be good for me to do that. I also look back on some of this, and there's times where it's great, as Will said, what did we do to get the group of people that we've had this time? Because frankly, there's been other times where we're like, come on, just one more, where we've really had to entice people to go on committees that weren't necessarily their passion, but it was something that the city needed them to do. And that was important. So, but I also think there's been some growth with that with a lot of people too. They get on something and they're like, wow, this is really cool. And they contribute in a very positive way. And that's really what we're looking for is people that do contribute and be part of a good process going forward.
I think, do you have questions of us?
Oh, come on.
No.
right.
I will just say that I appreciate all the hours of service that each one of you put into the city. And thank you for doing that.
And we say the same.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right.
Okay.
Tiffany.
Hello.
Hello.
All right, Tiffany, you know the first question.
My name's Tiffany, and I've been here in Troutdale, a resident since 2022. And I have 3 kids, and my youngest just turned 11, so they're older ages now. Where I came from, we moved from Eastern Washington, we were in Spokane. So we were used to the snow, not the wind. The wind was new for us here. That's been a challenge, but I'm good with it. It's better than snow, a lot of snow. I have a dog, and I pay more attention to the dog than I do the kids, and the dog is what got me kind of involved. I'm serving on the Parks Advisory Committee, and I walk this dog 2 miles a day because he's a working dog, so he needs his exercise, and I started to meet some of the staff that was in the parks, and that's how I found out about the Parks Advisory Committee and the openings, and I was encouraged to apply. And so I kind of just wanted to dip my toe in the water of whatever this was. I'm still very new to all this, and I just kind of wanted an alternate position, and before I knew it, now I'm chair. So from joining last June to being chair of the Parks Advisory Committee, that's a surprise to me, but I've really enjoyed it. And I've learned so much, and I'm enjoying the process. Instead of getting involved in like PTO and school stuff, which I'm sort of still involved with, but less so because my kids are older now, I kind of went this route. So it won't end because I won't graduate from this. It just keeps going and going, so I can keep giving and giving in different areas. Yeah, so that's a little bit about me.
Can I ask a quick question before we move on? She just referred to it, PTO. To me, that means power takeoff. What's it mean to you?
Parent-teacher organization.
Thank you.
Same as like PTG, parent-teacher group. They're all different acronyms at different places, so.
Okay,
Yeah, I think it's PTA here.
yeah,
Anyways,
okay. So it's the same as PTA.
same thing.
Okay,
It's just the parent-teacher group at the kids' school.
gotcha, thank you.
So what will you, in terms of experience, training, and passion, bring to the committee?
Well, being on the Parks Advisory Committee, I've been super involved, trying to go to all the events that we have held. I felt like I really pushed to have the second Halloween at the dog park, passionate about my dog. So I was really excited about that and to meet people there, and I'm hoping we're gonna make that an annual thing. You guys are talking about how did we get so many applicants? This flyer right here was hung all over Troutdale. I think I called downtown and I said, where did this flyer come from? Because I had a QR code on it that went to the city's website so you could get an application. I mean, it wasn't even laminated. Stuff I hang, I like to laminate because it rains a lot and the flyers get ruined. But I think Frank might have been responsible. I mean, they were on every single telephone pole, it seemed like, that I walked by. I actually pulled my car over and popped out and took a picture of it. And then I called downtown and I was like, who's making these? Can I get one? Because in this last year, I was able to do one of the first Fridays, I wanted to set up a table to tell people about our parks, because I don't feel like people know enough about what we have available in Troutdale. One of the things that I love are the expression swings, which are the mom-baby swings. And whenever I see a mom out with a little kid that will fit into one of those, I tell them about those, because I didn't have those in my parks when my kids were little. And I would have loved to swing that with them instead of standing there and pushing them. They're so cool. And like, some people don't even know about some of our parks because they're the little neighborhood pocket parks. So I was really passionate about telling people about the parks. So I set up a whole table, I made a suggestion box, and I shared at the first Friday that I did, I shared a table with the Erica Palmer. They were doing the survey about the bus back and forth and stuff, but I just didn't feel like I had enough community, not enough people were stopping by. And so I was kind of bummed about it. And as I've learned more about the city and the different committees and commissions, I know that the goal of the Citizens Advisory Committee is to like get the word out about what's going on. So I'm passionate about letting people know what's going on and showing up to events where I can tell people what's going on. I made this binder for myself because I went to the fire fair that was in Sandy Palisades Park. And I had it on the table and I printed out information from every single committee so that if somebody was like, well, what committees do you have? What do they do? Because a lot of the people that are applying don't know what the committees do. And you can go onto the website and it says the goal of each committee on the website. So I made a tab for each committee. And I told every single person that stopped by the table at the fire fair, are you interested in being a part of this? So like, I'm passionate about getting the word out. People don't know that they can come to these meetings, that they're all public and they're all open. And if they have anything that they want to share, they can come and share it. So that's where my passion is. And that's why I thought, if I'm going to join a different committee, I want to join the committee that wants to talk to people. I made a Facebook group for the dog park. And so we talk in that. And I also made one for the community garden for just the gardeners that year. And I know that there's one for Sunrise Park that already exists. It's not being utilized very much. I mean, I hear about like neighborhood watches and like groups like that. I'm just passionate about letting people know that they can have their voices heard. So.
Typically, it's obvious you're committed to attending the meetings. So I'm gonna ask you, are there any other committees you're interested in or an ad hoc committee if one's formed?
It seems like CAC has a lot of really, really good candidates. And I'm so new to this, but I'm like boots on the ground. I want to get involved. I want to meet people. It's interesting, you guys just put out this thing so you finally know what you want to do. So I understand why so many people want to come back because they want to see that through to fruition and the continuity is there. So getting all those seats filled by people who have had them, I understand if I don't make it on that one. And I'm gonna ask a question about this in a second when you guys ask questions, but TCAB sort of interests me too, because it seems like it's kind of got some of the similarities to Citizens Advisory Committee. And I know that through Paul sending the information about committees assigning a new member to TCAB, that's supposed to be happening. So I'm a chair, I can't assign myself, and we'll be discussing it tomorrow at our meeting, but I would be interested in TCAB or anything else that comes up. Like, I'm not opposed to it, but I would probably want to limit my involvement to 2 or 3 because I still have kids and a dog who needs a lot of attention.
Well, wonderful. Any questions for us?
My one question was about those TCAB appointments. So it seems like the different committee members that get appointed to TCAB, they are only supposed to be serving a year term. Is that like, because if you look at the TCAB appointments, so like the one from Parks Advisory Committee is Jim Hill. And so he was appointed last year and it ends this year. And so we're supposed to appoint a new person to TCAB. Can it be the same person or does it have to be a different person? Like, are there different rules about that? Because it seems like that's a yearly appointment. Is that because you guys want somebody different from each committee?
No, the committees that appoint to TCAB, the personnel are changing over the years, and I think that's why. There's no rule that
They can't
somebody
keep
can't
doing
be
it if they want to.
reappointed,
Because
but-
like, it seemed like Jim was applying for a TCAB position, but he's
Well,
also,
there are TCAB positions also that are not appointed by committees.
okay.
There's 5, and then there's 5 others that are
From the committees.
appointed by committees, and the CAC is, if you're gonna be discussing it tomorrow, you can pick somebody if you want.
Okay,
I'll leave that up to you.
that was my only question.
All right,
I'm Just
yeah.
trying to figure all this, the details out.
Yeah, well, we're gonna have enough trouble trying to figure out what to
I'm
do
sure, I'm
now.
sure. Thank you very
But,
much.
Thank you so much. And that is the interviews. I tell you what, we probably want to take 5, but let's not make it too much longer, because we're gonna have to go through the committees and try to decide who goes on what.
Do windows work in there? Did any, just the door, just go outside? Definitely warm now.
20 minutes ahead.
Any of that make any sense?
Well, only
I
because
probably
they're
haven't
all
looked at them today.
9 to 9:30.
I don't think
We're not, we're done.
okay.
We're not 20 minutes.
Yeah. I haven't gotten any actual, like, I didn't read any actual answers on it, like, nobody actually knows.
Let's look at it that way,
So I don't know how,
They
how
want
to go about
to
this. Charles pictures, right?
They did with their law at first.
People
I
disqualified.
am wondering, I can't get.
Well, I think we know why now. Tiffany put up the word.
An arrangement. That's when
The garden used his water at first that he had used to, yeah, there's nothing written down about that. So should we be inviting him to this meeting to tell us what the arrangement was? That seems to be, I don't want to go and tell him you can't use it, but I thought, what I understood from Jason, who's not at the park, with Parks anymore, is that he agreed to do the maintenance. But he's gotten too busy and he doesn't do it. And the weeds grow in there so bad. And so like, I just want that information updated.
maybe we can just say we need to.
Yeah, just the guidelines so that the gardeners feel like they can take a mower or a weed whacker in there and take care of it. And I think they're starting to do that. That's why I literally put invitations in each garden bed to try to get them to come to that meeting tomorrow to discuss it, because as it stands, bless Pepper Ann, she's not in that garden. She doesn't go up there. So she doesn't know what's going on in there. There are 2 beds that I don't think have been planted this year. They need to be given to somebody who wants them. You know what I mean? Like, it's not being managed as well as it could be managed.
And they were supposed to do the management.
He is gonna talk to Michael. I wonder if he'll have talked to him by tomorrow. Michael put in a new raised bed this year that spans the entire side of the garden. It's probably about as wide as the table, and it spans the entire side. And our water that the hose is attached to is right in the middle. I don't know if he's watering his new garden with that water, but he's not doing, if he agreed to do maintenance in the garden.
We have an agreement from 13 years ago that needs to be reviewed and updated.
A huge Charlie.
Michael has not been responding the last couple of months. Jonah's gonna go over there first.
Well, it's just very interesting to me, because I saw him dirt the thing that irritates me is to see all the weeds that are growing up inside the garden. And the gardeners don't think they're allowed to, like, it says they're not allowed to use power tools.
This is the way I want it to work. Oversee the general maintenance of the
sure.
I'm not heading to the.
What did you say?
Don't found the old agreement.
That's the way I went.
Found the old agreement.
So there was something that was written down at some
Sorry, I
point
went
in
through
time.
all the minutes, I couldn't find it.
I found too many, but I, you know what I would love to see happen with it? I would love to see it move over to the opposite side, opposite the butterfly garden, because there's already water there. And then have that. Yes, pollinated butterflies.
Yeah, well, anyways.
I might have shuffled the pages, but I'm gonna suggest that we, go through the committees in the order, they were in the binder. Of course, I took my pages out and they're all mixed up, but I think I've got them. I'll read off the list. I'm thinking, we'll start with budget, then historic landmarks, then parks, public safety, or PSAC in other words, the CAC, planning commission, and last but not least, town center advisory board. And I'll invite the chair will actually run the selection part to suggest who they would like. And with any luck, everyone will agree and it will move on to the next one, but we'll see. One thing I have to say to people who applied and for the record, that we had so many excellent applicants. I have never seen so many. Tiffany might have explained why there are so many, but anyway, it doesn't matter. It's great, the level of participation. Not everyone is going to get the first choice they picked. That would not be feasible. But with that in mind, let's do the best we can. Let's start with the budget committee. Tanny, the meeting is yours. And the other chairs, the committee will consist of Tanny and the city council only for this discussion.
Okay, so you like my recommendations?
If you would make recommendations, that'd be great.
This is really difficult. In trying to balance this out, I would say Heidi Timmerman for position 2. And Doug Kuiper for position 3 and Kevin Minkoff for position 7. And that committee also lost their alternate, I believe.
It says no alternate, are we not?
Under the state statute, you're not allowed to appoint an alternate
Okay.
until a vacancy occurs.
All right,
So
understood.
that's the one aberration.
Okay,
Even though the state thought that us having an alternate was a really good idea.
Yeah.
that sounds like the state. Okay, Tanny, you're running it, but it's open for discussion.
I'll just say, I think I would like to see Sandy there over Doug. Doug also applied for CAC. And I think that would be a good option for him. But that's just my opinion.
That's fine, yeah. I don't have an adverse to that at all.
But I agree with everything else, just saying it out loud.
Do you not want Sandy on planning commission?
We're not two planning commissioners.
Yeah, when we get there, she can also be
She
there.
applied for that.
Yeah,
She did. I'm okay with that.
okay.
Any other comments from the council?
What other committees is Sandy on?
None.
She's on nothing now.
Okay, I support that then.
All right, let's go on. These are our recommendations. We'll go over them at the end. There's bound to be some shuffling, but, and these will be recommendations to the council for adoption at a council meeting. Historic landmarks.
In position 5, I kind of looked at it strategically and was thrilled with all of the candidates. In position 5, I placed Donna Landers, 6, Leanne Steffen, 7, Jim Hill, And then, hopefully Aaron Baumgartner would be the alternate.
What was the first one? I'm sorry.
Landers.
Landers.
Donna Landers. 6 is Leanne.
7, Jim Hill.
Okay. Comments from the council?
That sounds great.
Yeah.
Okay, I agree. All right, let's move
I just
on.
have Loretta as alternate.
Sorry, what?
I have Loretta on there, but I don't know.
Loretta?
Well, Baumgartner,
They're both excellent, so shared preference.
Oh, wait, I'm just trying to find her, Loretta. Oh, she didn't apply.
Oh,
Loretta was on.
You're right.
Yeah.
all right. Then we'll move
Good
on
enough.
to Parks Advisory, PAC.
I really would like to see Frank in position 1, Frank Stevens. And Shelley is very passionate about parks and really expressed that she would like to stay. So I would give her position 2, and then I would like to see, I'm torn between Tristan and Aaron for position 3, so maybe make you guys choose. I don't know. What do you think?
Kristen seemed very passionate about it.
I was gonna say the same thing.
Yeah. I would agree. Who?
Tristan Jones.
Jones was very passionate about it.
I'm okay with that.
And then maybe Aaron as the alternate then.
Is that okay?
Sounds good. Nan, putting down Stanford as alternate.
Nan isn't on the list of people that apply.
Okay. Well, it's because I did some shuffling of my own.
Oh, all right. Was Aaron okay as alternate? With you?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, well, hey, we're doing well. PSAC.
Jordan Whitron was position 1. Kelly Weston is position 2. Michelle is position 3, and Stephen is an alternate. They're all about.
That's what I had.
That sounds good.
I'm just like, I don't know.
Okay.
Everybody has an idea.
I really like Frank, but I think he's on multiple other
He's on
committees.
lots.
Yeah, he's
So
on
an
some.
alternate would be good. I think that'd be good.
Okay, so, good. Got all those? No, okay, I'm jotting them down. Okay, CAC.
All right, I was thinking position number 1, Diane Castillo-White. Position 6, Victoria Rizzo. 9, Shelby Stephenson. 10, Will Knight. Number 11, Rebecca Sanchez. And then I was thinking for alternate, Tiffany Long. That did not take into account, though, the piece of shuffling from the budget committee, Mr. Joe, what's his name?
Kiefer.
Yes. So I don't know, I don't remember if he said he was interested in any other committees.
Who was position 9?
Shelby.
Shelby.
And 10, I'm sorry, I missed 10.
Bill.
Well,
I'm just gonna speak up because that's what I do. I really liked Rebecca a lot. I liked her energy and I thought she brought a lot. And not that I don't like Victoria because she's fantastic, but she's on a lot of committees. And I really think, I would really like to see the new people applying be included in us starting to grow our committees. And so I would replace Victoria with Rebecca
They're both on here.
They're both on there.
Rebecca was the alternate, I thought. Did you have her as an alternate?
No.
And if I didn't, oh. Okay, then I'm gonna shut up then.
Well, I'll piggyback on that. I would like to move Tiffany to position 6, and maybe Victoria down to alternate, for the same reason. Just because, I mean, exactly the same reason, but Tiffany does have, I mean, from my experience in parks, I think, a real knack for, innovation and moving things along for ideas, to draw people in. And I ran the booths with you at First Fridays, and that was the first time we've ever done outreach like that for even in parks. So I think, that energy will be, compatible and comparable.
I support that.
I'm gonna advocate for Victoria just for, she's been on there so long, she's so passionate about that committee. She's one of the original members of the CAC. Back when I was on CAC, Victoria and Will were there.
So is there somebody else that we might wanna move out and keep Victoria on? Just move to alternate? There's Shelby, Will, and Diane.
Or Rebecca.
Excuse me, Rebecca's the one.
I wouldn't be opposed to moving Rebecca to alternate, since she's newer.
She's
Like,
this is the only one she applied for, and I just really enjoyed her energy, and I think she would bring a lot of new ideas and new energy to it, so.
I concur. And that's really what I think we're looking for with CAC is just that, that drive for engagement, that energy, that inclusiveness, that, I mean, that's kind of, it's so hard because everybody on here has that. I think just in the interest of giving new people a shot at it and kind of the injection that I feel it needs.
I think Tiffany displayed that same amount of enthusiasm and energy.
Yeah, that's why I'm suggesting Tiffany goes into a position.
Okay, and the alternate would then be?
Well, yeah, we put Victoria in the alternate. She did comment that she'd been on there 24 and wanted 25.
That's true.
Yeah.
Victoria, you are on a lot of committees. Are you, I guess that's not fair. We're trying to pick here, so I don't know where we are.
Yeah, I would just say that Victoria is always there. She's super committed. She has called them from hospital beds. And so she does bring an energy and a perspective. I think that's a nice balance to have that historical perspective.
Sure.
I'm super excited about what Rebecca and Tiffany will bring. And in my experience on the committees, even though you're an alternate, typically within a few months, life changes and people move into those positions. So open those to whatever you guys feel.
So you're thinking, or if I'm reading, that Victoria would be position 11 and Rebecca alternate? Is that what you're saying?
I was saying, I think I'm open to anything, but I had Victoria in position 6 and Rebecca Sanchez in position 11. And
And Tiffany is the alternate. Oh, no,
yes, that's originally what was said, but.
okay, that is what you originally said. Well, I don't know, where are we? How, I mean, there's kind of, how does the council feel? I'm willing to go with that list.
I'm willing. I just want to point out that Victoria's already on 4 committees, and again, not that she's not valuable and not that she doesn't bring a great presence to it. That has nothing really to do with it. I just, in terms of like trying to spread the wealth around, is my only thought process, and I really want to like try to value that.
Well, oh, yes, go ahead.
I would just mention, sorry, just a little context. I believe then that she would move to the alternate, that would take her off of the Public Safety Advisory Equity Committee for the next round, because she would potentially be unable to be chosen for that. But that may also lead to the next one, which would be the town center or two down the road, where we could potentially fill her in one of those spots there. So it's just another option. But I do like sharing everything.
She's not on this, she's not on, what would she have, not be on then?
She would not be on PSAP, is that what you're saying?
Town center.
Town center.
As
Because she's
the
the
liaison from CAC, I don't know if an alternate can be the liaison to CAC, to TCAP.
Not, yeah, not that I'm aware of. Right?
Right.
Did they just choose who was going to go there, so she would be newly going on to TGAB?
I believe that
As of
in
this year.
June, all of the committees are supposed to choose their liaison to TCAP.
But can the alternate serve?
No, because they're not actually on the
Right,
committee.
because they're not on the committee.
But I will have to say, this is a wealth of people who applied. Don't discourage anybody who's a first timer and have somebody, I think Councilor One is correct, get somebody on 3 or 4 committees, it discourages other people. Well, you have to be an insider to get on the committee, and that's one thing to always consider. I love Victoria, so don't get me wrong.
Well, okay,
I do, honestly.
all right, your recommendation is Diane, position 1, Victoria, position 6, Shelby, position 9, Will, position 10, and Rebecca, position 11, and Tiffany is alternate. That's
That's what
I would go along with that, but I don't know how the council feels. I've heard some dissent. Is that okay?
I mean, I'll defer to the chair if they think it's the best option for the committee, I think as a whole, so, I mean, I said my thoughts on it, but if, you know, like you said, things change, so it's always a possibility. That's how,
Okay, is that okay? I mean, reluctantly, I know you.
Like I said, what Zach said, I agree with what he said, so.
Okay, I mean, it doesn't have to be unanimous, but, okay, then we've got CAC handled, and Tiffany will be the alternate, and Victoria's back on, is on it, and, all right, Planning Commission. It's yours, Tammy.
Okay, position 1, Sandy Glanz. Position 3 would be Adrian Kester. And the alternate would be Frank Stevens. And Rich Allen's listed here, but he is not applying for Planning Commission. He's listed on there.
Oh, is that right?
He's already on,
But
28.
He doesn't, yeah, he's on there until 28.
Okay, so he doesn't go off,
He
okay.
doesn't go on.
Dan, I had one thought.
Yes, sir.
I know in the past you've gone without an alternate, and by appointing Frank, it may require him to resign from the Gresham Planning Commission that he's serving on. So I'm wondering.
I was wondering if.
Our ordinances do not require that.
He said if he got appointed to Troutdale, he would resign from.
I would hope that that wouldn't come into play unless he was called up.
Okay.
You know, that he could still serve in any other area that he's in until he was called up.
As an alternate, he could probably stay on Gresham.
Okay.
So
I just threw
that's
that
what the
out,
thought
food for
process
thought.
was.
Okay, and then, TCAB.
So I have Tanny, position 1, and Loretta, position 2. And after that, it gets a little murky. Jim potentially could be reinstalled and reloaded as the Parks liaison to Town Center. I feel confident that Victoria would probably be re-dominated from the CAC to go into that. but at the same time, Frank will be on like 5, 6 committees as well, so, I'm open for suggestion on the last 2.
Oh, Jim, he's done good work on that.
Absolutely. Yeah, Jim and Victoria.
Jim
both been
Hill is
excellent.
position 4.
Yeah.
And,
Just thinking because Loretta's new blood, we should try to plug her in if we can.
she's
Yes,
position
position
2.
Oh, okay, yeah,
She's
okay.
position 2. And,
I thought it was Victoria was position 2.
no, Victoria serves as a representative of CAC.
Okay, so there is a typo on there. She is position 6, and she's technically not reapplying. She's applying to become a TCAT member, not an appointed liaison from the CAC. So there's a bit of a typo there in that.
I see. So we wouldn't have to appoint her if the CAC continued to appoint her, which is
Same with Jim. Same with Jim too.
Okay.
That's where the
So who'd you have in number 2?
Loretta.
Loretta.
Sanford Max hasn't been appointed to any committees. I don't know if he might be interested in TCAP, just to know.
Here's what Aaron.
Well, how about Aaron for the alternate?
Alternates, and
So, my thought about that was that, she's on 2 different committees already previous to this one and has been appointed to that. For a first timer with no introduction, to put her on 3 might be a little bit of overload. And also, didn't necessarily seem to have any particular knowledge or base interest in particularly TCAP. That's what I thought maybe like parks and historic landmarks might be a great starting point. But again, open for.
So were you thinking?
Well,
Yes, Carol.
But we have Erin on, as an alternate on 2 committees, so she's, I mean, it's not like she has a voting voice, and I would love her to be able to be on a committee where she has a
I
voice.
think a good way for her to learn would be an alternate.
Well, she's already an alternate on 2, so you're taking somebody who's never volunteered and being, here's 3 new committees, 3 times, I mean, that's a lot you're really asking someone to do.
I mean, in that case, I would be willing to like remove her from an alternate in a different one to give her a voting, a position where she could go and participate.
Yeah.
And again, that's just me.
I would say the same. Loretta also didn't seem to have a whole lot of insider knowledge on TCAP as it was. With different experience, but also kind of same boat. And it didn't strike me as legitimate in that sense, I guess.
Can I say something?
Yes.
Aaron is an alternate on the PAC. You put Aaron or Sanford Max. You could take Aaron off alternate and put her on TCAB and put Sanford Max as alternate since he isn't on any other committees.
That's one that you wanted.
Yeah, he wanted PAC.
Great idea.
I didn't see him listed as the applicants on the sheets. I missed his name. Oh, there it is, never mind.
On parks.
Okay, so I'm afraid I didn't hear that.
Okay, for PAC, you guys said Aaron or Sanford as the alternate. And you guys were saying you would like Aaron on a committee that's not an alternate. You could put her on TCAB as a position 4. And put Sanford Max as the alternate on the PAC, since that's what he's applied for, and you guys haven't put him in on any other committee. Does that make sense?
And then Hill as the alternate on TCAP, is that what you meant? Hill, Jim Hill?
I didn't say anything about Jim Hill.
Sorry, what?
Who's the alternate on Town Center?
We don't have one yet.
I haven't said yet.
We haven't decided.
You don't have a regular.
We're currently, Tanny, Loretta, Jim is what we currently have on the.
Well, then, what about putting Jim as the alternate and then having Aaron as position 4 or position 2?
Jim's been serving on that committee, right?
As the representative from Parks.
Yeah.
Same as Victoria was the representative from CAC.
Oh, so we wouldn't have to appoint him to position 4, but we couldn't put an alternate either. I mean,
It's a little sticky there.
But he could be appointed, correct?
he probably would be appointed,
Yeah.
likely appointed by
Maybe.
Parks.
Tiffany might have a better
Well-
inside information.
We're supposed to appoint somebody for TCAB at our June meeting. So I don't know how that's gonna go, because I'm not at the June meeting yet. Jim obviously is showing interest in it, and the way that you answered my question was, he can still be on it if he wants to, but is anybody else on PAC interested in it when he served on it for a year already? So that's like a question for our committee when we're in session. So it's that, he's right, it's very sticky, because I can't answer that right now, whether he'll stay on it or not.
But were we to appoint, sorry, if we were to appoint Jim, it would free up another Parks Committee member anyways.
To serve on it, yeah.
I thought this committee's right in the middle of a really important deal. I'd like to keep as much of the original the people that have been involved in this deal as possible. You know, Loretta, I wrote a note, she said she's game for any committee. She kind of has a Portland background more than she does a Troutdale background. I picked up on that.
She even called
too.
it downtown Portland.
Yeah. And she said she didn't even know what TCAP does.
Yeah, so I'm thinking, I'd rather get the people that are working and then draw from our existing committees like CAC and Parks, that they can pick the best representative, because we have some veterans in all of those groups that I think would have a better understanding of the TCAP.
Well, and I guess another point is that, I don't know how long Loretta's been here, but, Erin's been here for, what, 20 years or something like that? So, I mean, she has some history of what, when she's lived here, she knows some of the history in Troutdale, and maybe she would have more voice.
Erin's been here since she was born.
Yeah. You can't get any
Okay,
more history
so-
than that.
But who's been on the committee? That's what I'm looking
Jim,
for.
Tanny, Victoria, Jim.
And Victoria and Jim, okay.
Well, how about we put Aaron in position 2, this is town center, and Loretta as the alternate.
My idea would keep Victoria on there. and then-
Victoria's staying on there.
But,
It's through CAC.
and I'd rather have them pick
Oh, it's
someone,
through CAC.
someone out of CAC will be picked besides Victoria. So it's just so we have some real stability.
Lock her in for 2 years.
I think that's the smartest move, nothing against Aaron, you did a great job interviewing. And, but we're in the middle of a really big deal. And to me, it's the most important thing going on in the city besides police and fire is probably TCAP right now.
Well, if that's the case, can we give Aaron like a full position somewhere else?
Let's look at that, I'd be more than happy to look at that, I think we had her on something already.
Two alternatives,
Oh.
she's an alternate.
Let's see how it shakes down, let's maybe go through the rest, is that the last
Well,
one?
yeah, that's it, we're done.
Okay.
She's alternate right now for HLC and Parks. So it'd be good to have her have a voice on a committee.
And she, you know, with the.
Can I say something even though I'm not part of this? When Jim set up here, he said he would step away for somebody new to try. He did say that.
Yes, he did say that.
I'm not saying anything else.
So that mean moving him to the alternate in the Historic Landmark Commission and giving Aaron his position.
Are we talking about TCAP still?
Or, yeah, TCAB, put Hill as the alternate and Aaron as position 4.
Yeah, but
That's the
Jim's
way.
doing the work though, and he has a better understanding than someone brand new.
But he'll still be on it, potentially with Parks is the thing.
Yeah.
I think he was just being gracious when he said that, you know.
That's were his words.
Right, but he could still be,
Yeah, he can still be
on the
on it.
committee through the committee that he's on.
I have a question. Adrian, is Adrian on the TCAB through a committee or I can participate.
He's HLC member.
Maybe
Well, I know, no, I know that, he's ours. So so he's not getting on the TCAB any other way, just other than through,
Yeah.
other than HLC?
So Glenn, a lot of what TCAB is doing is gonna happen in the next 5 weeks. Couple of July. So I think Victoria can get reappointed in July, or June or July, because that's, and not affect what we're already involved in.
Danny, you're on TCAP. We haven't heard from you. What's your idea?
I'm not the chair of TCAB. I'm on TCAB, yes.
Okay.
I would just say, for me, I think TCAB's got a lot of work in front of it. And the only thing I think that's hard for somebody is if somebody comes in now, the train's moving at like Mach 5, and it's hard to jump on that and kind of contribute when you have it in a longer process.
Well, just getting up to speed on all the history that has happened and to try to then contribute meaningfully is difficult.
So.
But also, being on committees for, I don't know how long, I think 15 years that I was on committees, I still didn't understand the fullness of every committee, because there's so much history in every committee. And I think if you have a huge project that you're doing, it is up to the member to do the research and to get caught up. I mean, I had to, and Zach had to.
Yeah, I came in right in the midst of Parks Master Plan.
Yeah.
Like, that was the biggest project Parks has done in 20 years, so. It's true.
I mean, Tiffany had to.
Victoria would, well, likely continue as the TCAB member for the CAC. I mean, so I guess we've said so many different things, I'm confused a little bit, but Tammy in position 1, I was thinking, did you ever say Aaron in position 2? Or
I think we had Jim in position 4, or in one of the positions, and then, yeah, the last position and the alternate would be open. I'm fairly confident that CAC would likely nominate and vote Victoria.
I am too,
well.
so how about Aaron in position 2 and Loretta as the alternate?
I support that.
How's that sound? Okay. Well, folks, just to, do you want to read them back to us, or do you want us to?
I'll read what I have.
Good.
Budget Committee. Position 2, Heidi Timberman. Position 3, Doug Kuiper or Sandy Glantz.
No, it was Sandy Glantz.
Sandy?
Yeah.
Okay. Position 7, Minkoff.
Yes.
HLC, position 5, Donna Landers. 6, Leanne Steffens. 7, Jim Hill. Alternate, Aaron Baumgartner. PAC, position 1, Frank Stevens. Position 2, Shelley Reynolds. Position 3, Tristan Jones. For alternate, you guys mentioned Aaron Baumgartner or Sanford Knox.
We're gonna go Sanford because we
Oh, is it?
gave Aaron.
Yeah, 'cause we did Aaron as well, yeah, Sanford.
PAC.
All right, Sanford, that's different.
All right. PSAC, position 1, Jordan Wittrin. Position 2, Kelly Wesson. Position 3, Rich Allen. Alternate, Frank Stevens. CAC, position 1, Diane White. 6, Victoria Rizzo. 9, Shelby Stephenson. 10, Will Knight. 11, Rebecca Sanchez. Alternate, Tiffany Long. PC, position 1, Sandy Glantz. 3, Adrian Erin Kester, alternate Frank Stevens. TCAB, position 1, Tanny Stephenson, 2, Aaron Bumgarner, 4, Jim Hill, alternate Loretta Wilkin. Is that right?
My notes, okay.
Can you repeat the budget committee one more time?
The what?
Budget committee, the first one.
Position 2, Heidi Timberman, 3, Sandy Glantz, 7, Kevin Minkoff.
All right, if we are agreed that that's a recommendation to the council, I would entertain a motion
Move we
to
adjourn. Second.
Can I say something really quick? I don't know how you let people, I think I got a letter when I got accepted onto the Parks Advisory Committee, but I would strongly suggest in the letter that goes out to the people that didn't get positions, that they are really encouraged to come to the committees that they were interested in and participate in the public part of it. Like, they're allowed to come. Please come and participate as a Troutdale resident, because it feels like so many people are like, no, I've never gone to a meeting, because they don't know that they can come. That's something that I hear a lot when I'm out and about talking to people, that they don't know that they're welcome and that they can speak up.
All
So
right.
that's just a suggestion.
Tiffany, I think that's a very good idea. We have a motion and a second. All in favor of adjourning, say aye.
Bye.
Any opposed? We are adjourned.
Nerve of,